What is good, rookies? Welcome to our Supercoach After Dark. And tonight we have JG from Swordplay, Supercoach. I was about to say Supercoach Hub, but technically you guys are all one now. So thank you for joining me, mate. We have a lot to talk about this round.
Yeah,
I,
we sure
I, I
do.
think I think everyone's copped a bullet. I don't think anyone's gone unscathed. How are you feeling coming into this chaotic week that is round 6?
I do not feel good. I felt good until tonight's game. I thought I was gonna get a decent score. Trainer on
Mhm.
field.
Yep.
Bailey Humphrey against the Tigers. I thought surely a 70 plus.
Yep.
Got to half time. He was on 40, and he had 7 points for the second half, one disposal, and a one tackle.
Yep.
Honestly, and also found out just before Trainer got subbed on that if he didn't come on, it would have been a DNP. Had prior 92 emergency on the bench. So as soon as he came on with 6 minutes 30 left in the quarter, I was ready to punch walls. I was seriously ready to punch walls.
I'm
I
surprised the walls behind you are nice and clean.
I know. I'm surprised as well. Like they're lucky to be intact right now. Honestly, but I mean, like copping with trainers two on the field now. I'm going to be copping Reed's 38. Going to be copping Humphreys 47. But I think a lot of teams will be copping these scores as well, and I think it could be evened out. Like a lot of people have Will Ashcroft's 43. Some people would have, including myself, have Zorko 70. There's been some poor scores around, but geez, like already behind the pack for the ones at VC Dacos, and yeah, tonight didn't help at all.
Nah, I agree. And that's what I mean. It's like there's a lot of chaos, but it's common chaos. I think it's one that everyone kind of gets hit by. It's you see Reed go off, with the difference on prior last week. So you make
Mm,
what would be a logical decision and go, I'm gonna put Reed on field and leave Pryor on the bench. And then if you're like me and JJ, we both bring in a Sard Al Hooley because we wanted to try and get Trainer, Reed, and Bice on field.
oh,
Only then to obviously Essendon played yesterday to just come in and Sard sub and then scores a 7 or a 4, sorry, and then Trainer announced sub. The only thing that can make this work, now thankfully I've got this player benched. Imagine if Cleary gets subbed, his name sub.
yeah, and I can see it happening, man. And my get out plan will be hopefully if he's named sub Cochran's not, and you bring him in at 99k instead. But also, thankfully, Max Hall plays after Caden Cleary, so that's a pretty easy swap
Mm,
onto the field. But yeah, I
yeah.
honestly think it's a chance. I haven't looked at Sydney's bench since Thursday night when it was extended bench, but looking at it, it was probably between him and a couple of other players. So the way this round's gone, it wouldn't shock me.
No, I think we've seen everything at this point, right? We've seen
Yeah,
Trainer just come, literally steam train for the last few weeks, and then somehow his name sub, and we won't know the reason why. There's a
yeah,
criminal in the team, more than not, who's and then now the coach has been criminal and given Trainer a 6-minute game time. Like you might as well have just sent him to the VFL to develop. Like
yeah.
no one gains anything. So honestly, but look, we got plenty to discuss. We'll start going through some comments just to keep things ticking. I love Studi. Came in at 6:15 just to say he passed on the Whitfield captain as he has a choice between McRae and Sinclair tomorrow. I don't mind it. I also passed. I wasn't. It was a tricky one for me. I was going to actually captain Whitfield, but I was worried that Berry might have gone to him. So then Berry was named sub. And I was like, okay, that's like in his favor. But then I heard rumors of Alex Neil spending some attention on him. So I was like, oh, even if that's not the case, I'm just going to go see Sinclair anyway. Just because it's Sinclair at Marvel. He has an absolute amazing run there. I think Sinclair will be fine and we've seen some pretty shocking captaincy scores with people
Mm.
trying to catch up to Dacos. So we took the chance there. Who have you gone for your captain?
I went Brayshaw, and
Start with.
that was another thing that was almost carnage. The AFL app had him as subbed out.
Yeah.
So he had a 10-minute stint on the bench and had the injury icon on Footy Info. I was like, what's going
Yeah.
on here? Then checked the AFL app. they said subbed out. He was on 74 points at the time. So to get to 120 and nothing wrong with him, I am so thankful.
Yeah, a little bit kissed.
Yeah.
As I said, I think we were talking in the chat, and I saw him like re-bleeding from that head knock that he grabbed, and I had a feeling it might have just been him getting taped up again to kind of go through that. So AFL app, you can't really trust them. Like all these icons and stuff, even on like Footy Info app and stuff like that, you're just like, it's going to give me a heart attack if I look at this too much. Supercoach Pro, what's up, Brad? Hope you are doing well. You are up and about for sure with the Tigers getting the win. Did we expect that happening?
For some reason, I actually had a sneaky chance it could have happened. Don't know why, but just thought like Gold Coast, I still don't trust them. And I put out a tweet last week, like they've beaten West Coast, North Melbourne, and then Adelaide by 1 point, where Rankin probably should have had a shot at goal to either tie it up or win that game late. So yeah, like I thought it was a chance, but I didn't think that it will. I'll be honest, like I am still slightly surprised that they won, but I mean, Carlton supporters would be pretty happy they're not the only ones that lost to Carlton this year now. Richmond this year now.
I mean, Carlton looks like they're premiership chance considering some of the games we saw today. Honestly,
yeah.
What, Brad, rookie carnage, trainer and Reed got to go, I reckon. See you next Tuesday. Flynn got to be in everyone's flex, and then Finn back to 116. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Is I think we also saw a bit of a bounce back for some players as well. Flynn, for those that traded. I mean, honestly, like it's. Do you do it? Do you get him back in? Like he's got a negative break even of 73 or something.
I think I will be, and mostly because I mean he's shown he's scoring now. And to be honest, in that round one game that he got absolutely smashed by Wits, he still got 87. And that's pretty good score against Wits. Like he's been one of the hardest rush matchups for probably 3 to 4 years now, and I think like that performance buys Flynn at least 3 weeks in the team. Like he was really, really good. Like it's not just that score that was good. He had 28 hitouts, 7 marks, 19 touches. Yeah, and it was awesome and set up Liam Ryan for that late shot at goal, which he played on from. But Flynn was a big part in that play. I think I'm going to be trading him in, and I'd be lying if I said I haven't already booked my trades in. It's going to be Luke Trainer, Bailey Humphrey. I cannot wait to do it. I said before, it's going to be the greatest achievement in my Supercoach career, trading that man out. And also going to be trading out Max Hall to Petrarca or Warner. I know you are looking at a certain Hawthorn player that we might discuss a little bit later. And also Matt Carroll and Flynn. So, yeah, definitely going to lock in those trades at this stage.
For sure. For those that held Finn, though, really good bounce back game. Look, honestly, like they scrapped themselves through, considering the abysmal game that was watching with the kicking and the clangers, it was pretty bad. But I mean, hey, like a Whitfield, nice score. Even like a Tom Green, a trade I was looking at very heavily, scrapped it together. But I do see there were concerns that he needs 30 plus possessions to make a decent score. And he had like 36 possessions again. Like he just racks it up and only got like a 117. It's just that DE that hurts. But I mean, the week's going to happen. Just quick shout out to Daniel Green. Again, first member on the channel ever. So I'll always give him the biggest of shout outs. Massive Tigers fan, apparently. Daniel Green. How do you go for such a team? I might have to remove that membership. I'm just kidding. DJ Gardner Holmes, the Hewetts. I just built diff. Man, did you hold Hewett?
I never actually had him, but that's a massive score for anyone that has him. Midfield DPP, can just reset his cash down to make some cash now. Good rook, really good rook.
Who would have known? We had a report early in the week saying that he wasn't really going to play, or the chances were low, and then all of a sudden he's fit to play and pulls a 90 out of nowhere. Like if you held him just for the DPP, like you've been heavily rewarded, and it seems to be the common theme. Like I traded Pal Pepper out, for example, to get to Smith, whereas I probably should have used someone else because Pal Pepper has, for that rookie price, been one of the better results.
Yeah.
Who would
Yeah,
have seen that after an 18 in the first round, right?
I know.
Leash.
And I held Palpab after that 18, got that 80 odd score, and still traded him a couple of weeks later. And Palpab was actually the one I traded to Humphrey. So, yeah, it makes me hate Humphrey even
Yeah.
more. But I mean, at the end of the day, Humphrey's going to become Petrarca, and I'm just going to cut my losses and move on, I guess.
And I think that's all we can do is we can kind of happily say goodbye to this week, cop whatever rank we get and go, cool, everyone else most likely took a hit. And it's going to be those really weird teams that had a Veloston that are just going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
Because we know someone in there has got a Dacos, a George Hewett, a Veloston, a Whitfield. Like they've got the weirdest setup. It was probably like an autofill, and you know what? It's just going to take the top score 1 week, and then that team's probably going to not play for the rest of the season. So,
Yeah.
and then the other Hewett. So I think this man right here. I did say during the week that if Hewett went over at 130, I get a poster. I did look, could not find any posters. So we've got George Hewett as the background. I did commit to it. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's clearly one that got away, one that we missed. Really. I mean, geez, he's good. Absolutely good. Guy
Yeah.
Broom, how do you feel about the George Hewett situation more than anything?
I can't believe it. Like he started the season 496K, and he's one of those ones that alongside McCluggage who ended up going sub 100, but he's one of those players that I'm just like, when's this bad score going to come? Like surely this isn't sustainable. I mean, he did have that 1 year when he first moved to Carlton as a defender, that a lot of people picked at like 370K, I think it was, and he averaged 110 plus average. So he's shown it before, but that season he was missing games every now and then. I think he only played like 17 games, so it was a bit of a small sample size. But yeah, he's been unreal this season, and he's exactly what Cripps has needed. Like Walsh, yeah, he's a good player, but he hasn't really been able to support him in to an extent. So yeah, I can't believe it. And that's now 1, 2, 3, 5 120 plus scores in a row, and he's gone 170. So
Nuts.
yeah, I can't believe it.
Like you maybe after the first two, you're like, "Ooh, are we missing something?" And then you go,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's George Hewett." And it was the same with like McCluggage. We're kind of like, "Oh, not known for this sort of scoring or consistency." And you're worried that if I trade him in, it's going to be the week that he pulls out a 70 or something like that. And I think that is what kept someone like myself away from it. I should have listened to Joshua, who I can see a comment here. Finally, some George Hewett love. Yes, I committed to the love. Unfortunately, like shout out to Joshua. He was on it from the get about George Hewett, and I'm sure he's sitting pretty happy, going, "Tried to tell you." But Kai Broom, glad I traded in trainer, saves me 34 points and like 20k cash gen. Hey, solid. I think it's one of those weird things where maybe it was a play, trading out trainer. Maybe he is the trade out, but I think there are all chances that trainer comes back. Bolter is limited time, and then he's got his court hearing and all that fun stuff. I think trainer's going to slot right back in, and there is all chances he kickstarts his cash gen again. And that's the hard thing, is that we got to weigh up. Do we hold him one more? Do we wait? And they got the first game, I think, next round. So
Yeah,
we
they
kind of
do
get
it. Anzac Eve.
Yeah, Anzac Eve. So we get a bit of a look as to what that's going to look like. So yes, James, this round sucks. I'm going down so many ranks. I think a lot are in the same boat, mate.
Yeah.
I'm scared to see the lockout left on Monday night. It's going to be even a longer delay too, so we're going to have to sit with this feeling for longer. We can't just get it over and done with.
Yeah. The only thing is, at least it's going to be a short turnaround with only 2 days of no footy. But it just sucks that the pull around we've got to just endure it for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Stuart, yeah, putting trainer on field cost me big. I think it costs a lot of coaches. So yeah, and then, hey, this is what I'd love to know, is if coaches are very aware of like the fantasy side of things, and if they ever take it, like they obviously wouldn't consider it because it's not tied to what they do in a coaching perspective. But
Yeah.
There's got to be some coach somewhere that just has a little giggle to themselves, surely.
I reckon so.
I might be pointing direct fingers at Uze for that one. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Josh says, "What a disaster." Yep, it's one of those weeks, mate, where we're all in it. It's we thought we had bad rounds in like round 2 and 3. Man, if you round 2 and 3 look like gems compared to this round, honestly.
Mm.
Like we thought we got through the worst of it, but oi. Kai, a Sydney man, by the way. Corey Warner, Hanley, and Cleary, big sub chances. Well, let's hope it's not Cleary.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I
I saw
mean,
like their bench before, maybe Aaron Francis as well.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I think Corey Warner's on field, so I'm really concerned that it's going to be either Cleary or Hanley.
we'll be watching that sub report now before tomorrow's game very, very closely for most. Because Gross and Cleary were the main downgrade targets for this week. I went a week early on Cleary, so if he's like subbed, it's whatever. But some people are forced into it this late into the round, given some
Yeah,
trades. So it's
yeah.
unfortunate. Surf Ghost, thanks for putting me onto the Hewett gang. I mean, sure, I'll take some credit for that. Why not? Quasar, ladies man. I know the reason why trainer was sub. Well, tell us. Don't just leave. Don't tease us, mate. Come on. Don't do that. That's Supercoach's Edge's job. He edges us. Don't do that, Quasar. Joshua is putting the seat on Rozze. What are your thoughts on Rozze as a trade in? We know we saw a role shift last week. Reports are saying he's been training with the defender group this week as well. Do we think the role sticks?
I'm not too sure, and like that's the problem. Like, does it stick? Like he's not going to be a top 8 midfielder as a mid. He can probably get there as a defender, and especially could be top of the line if he got that defensive status as well. But now that now that we've already had our first lot of DPPs, I think he has to play a certain percentage of defense across the first 12 games now. It's not
Mm-hmm.
from round 6 to round 12. So he's going to have to play a lot of defense. And whether that defense role sticks for 6 rounds or not, I'm not too sure. And yeah, I think it's just such a tough trade in. Looking at his break even now, he's going to break even of 85. So another 130 and is going to be up above that 500K again. So, is there other options you could go for at that price or around that price? Not too sure, but putting the C on him, are you worried James Jordan goes to him? Does James Jordan go to Butters? I mean, we've seen James Jordan can tag both the halfbacks and the inside midfielders. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess it just depends what mood Dean Cox is in.
Yep.
So I'd probably steer clear of the C just in case he does cop the tag.
Yeah, look, to kind of negate away from the comments just quickly, next week is going to be very interesting trade wise because when you think about it, we've had a lot of bottomed out prices all kind of hit at the same time. You've got a Sherry who now looks back in peak form. You've got Flynn. You've got a Dacos at 600. You've got a Merritt just under 600. You've got a Neglong who looks amazing in that role and is at a reasonable price if you were willing to go there. You've got a Stewart. You've got a Moore, you've got a Track. Like, there's going to be a lot of different directions one can take with their team. And I think we thought season ending or altering decisions were kind of this week. I think next week is the big one because there's a lot of ways people can go. And I mean, if you got Dacos this week, you might be ahead, but hey, you might also have Washcroft on your team as well. You might have also had a trainer and you might have had these massive spike scores of your 170s, but you also probably took your 2s from trainer and your 38s from Reed. And, it's just up and down. I think the only consistent players that I've seen are Hewett, who one I don't have, and Mr. Chera himself. My goodness.
Oh,
Keeps doing it.
how good is Chera, honestly? And I mean, one of my favourite starting picks as well, Brayshaw, hasn't gone under the ton yet. And I think
Yep.
that's now 4 120 plus scores in a row for him as well. So, but you are exactly right. This is a big trade week, and a lot of people are going to be in the same boat as you and I, where they're going to be filling in that 6 forward slot, and that's
Mm-hmm.
crucial like a lot of people have your Horn Francis, Rankin, McRae, Smith, and Daniel. So there's that
Yeah,
one slot there. And
yeah,
honestly, take your pick, roll the dice between your Chad Warners, your Petrarcas, your boy Dylan Moore.
yeah.
Draper was going to be one of them. He was
Mm.
looking awesome. And even the Nick Martin's just gone 140.
Oh,
So
I
there's a
know.
few options there now. And you've got to pick right with that last slot because you get it wrong and you really don't have anyone else to get in that forward line because you're not going to be picking a forward at flex.
No, that's right. I mean, honestly, in this case, I think Nick Martin's ahead by like you think of Essendon's run with that
Yeah.
DPP, like it's hard to. I mean, look, track did enough. Like I think we saw enough.
Mm.
He just again, it's just that kicking. Just needs to clean
Yeah.
up that kicking, and he's that 105, potentially 110 in scaling opportunities like we saw today. Just like we just hope as the season goes on, he progresses. And Melbourne looked much better today too. So like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably some confidence boosting for anyone who's looking to get in track next week as well. But that, yeah, as you said, there's a lot of options for that last forward spot. And do you try to lock it in now, or do you give it a week and wait for prices to adjust? Like there's so many options in all lines, defense, mids, and now forwards, where it's like, oh, this could be season defining if I get it wrong.
Mm. And the thing
Uh,
is, like, oh, sorry.
no,
Yeah.
go.
The thing is as well, like Nick Martin, he's the one that's averaging the best out of all of them, but he's going to be the one that's near on 530K. Like Chad Warner, a score of 100, he gets to 470. Petrarca's going to be 480.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Moore's going to be in those 450, 460. So it's going to come down to price as well. So, but you are exactly right at the moment in terms of points and what they've shown. Nick Martin might be the one that's leading the way.
Tend to agree, mate. Tend to agree. I think, Nick Martin is probably my. If I had to pick one and I had cash available and had to lock one in for the rest of the season, I'm going Martin at this point. Just because he does eventually, like he does fall back into that halfback role as well, which adds a safer floor, can kick a goal, which adds a ceiling. Like there's just a few things that are good about that role. Corza has taken Gawn's VC of a 117. I think that's very safe for this round. You take that, absolutely. Zorko 70 did absolutely nothing for me this week. Surf Coast captained Hewett. Oof. That's got to feel good.
Yeah,
That has got to
that's
feel
big.
good.
That's very big.
Heck, so glad Flynn went huge. Made me swap Gawn to Whitfield in the flex, save my score a little after the disaster so far. Hey, there you go. There you go. So it looks like Heck's probably held on to Flynn. That's a huge hold. That is a huge hold. I mean, we can't talk about Flynn and not think about the man himself, Supercoach God.
Oh, God.
He must be feeling after trading to Briggs, who, I mean, let's just
27 points from a full game in number one ruck. How do you even do that?
Oh, I mean,
It gets Riley O'Brien.
Yeah. It is nuts. So look, I might have to I think everyone's gonna have to do a welfare check on God at some point this weekend because man, that is rough. Adam, Keith think he's having a good week. Remember, he does not have Dacos. Dacos, the score is great, but given the chaos, I don't think it means as much as it should in a normal week.
It'll definitely even out.
Yeah, it's still gonna put them ahead. Don't get me wrong, but I think you're gonna see a few situations where someone does have a day course VC that they've taken, but they've also got a Washcraft, a Reed, a trainer on field, and don't have any other. Maybe they got a trainer in flex. So now that I put Bice in flex at the last minute to cancel out some other scores, but if they got a trainer in flex, they're at the mercy of their other rookies for the rest of the week because that 2 ain't beating no one. So we'll see how we go. Josh, if Cleary is sub, I'll have to take his score or trainers. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's absolute shambles. Absolute shambles for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thought I'd miss out on Reed's 38, but Briggs gets 27. Oh, yeah, another Briggs owner copping it. Josh, you taking the piss. Why? What did Josh say? Yep. If that's relative to that comment, sure. Reed 38 not looking so bad after that 2 score. And look, this happened again a few weeks ago, right? We thought Reed's I can't remember what score was, but it was like a 45 or something like that. And the trainer came in and scored a 32 or something, where Reed somehow did better than trainer, and it's just happened again. And you're like, how does this keep happening? Ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, like if trainer went 65, it's only 27 points you're losing, and with the chaos this round, I think it does even out in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there will be some people that's just missed all of it and go 2,400.
Well, there might be people that, say, for example, have the Eon prior on the bench and still held a pattern, and now they get to take it, and maybe they could have taken it instead of Reed, or they could have put it in the place of trainer. So they're a leg up. Again, some of the value in having a loop option on your bench as well, which it is valuable, but not when all your mid bench rookies are all loop options, like my bench looks like at the moment. So not fun. Calls it loves the poster of Hewett. Yeah, look, this man, I had to swallow my pride and get the poster up, and it is what it is. Yeah, have to take 2 points. Some people might have to. That's the unfortunate fact here is, depending on where trainer was, you might have to go there. JCR, there's Georgie boy. Yep, he's here. Global, welcome in, mate. Thanks for joining. Stoddy, Finn Callahan didn't cop the tag this week, which is the only reason he went big. Yeah, I mean, was there even really a tag going on? There was no real tags with Adelaide as well. So we both saw Green and Callahan get to that 117, 116 point. So, I mean, I would love for Callahan to still maintain getting the tag just because he is that transition player, whereas Green is that in an under kind of tackle contested possession machine, which they don't usually go to tag. So I still love the Green pick. It paid out today at a 117. So if you went there based off recommendations, you're welcome, I guess, in a week of chaos. The 117 in a midfield with an Oliver 91 and a you got Dunkley 83. Throw out a few others. I mean, I'm looking at my midfield, but have you got any low primo midfield scores?
The midfield is actually the only place that I'm actually having a decent round this week. I mean, I've got Brayshaw 120 a C, Dacos is 172, Neil 113, Chero 110, Oliver 91, Ashcroft 89, and then a Lindsay 55 with Sinclair still to play. So it's actually a strong point on my team, but just copying all these poor scores in your Humphreys and your Reed and your trainer and your Lindsay. So it's such a weird round, to be honest.
It's well, I don't think weird covers it, to be honest. Cause is glad that he went prior over trainer on field this week. Solid, mate. Solid. Also shout out to Causer as well, who is also a member of the channel, just quickly. Dreezy held Flynn, fielded and bought in Dacos and VC. What a great week. Oh, you guys, anyone who kind of held this and made this sort of play and absolutely flying this week. It's like, it very much reminds me of a Brad from last week, Supercoach Pro, who flew. Had a shocking week the week before, but came smashing last week, swinging into its 1,200 rank. So, awesome stuff. Marty, not to mention the Zorko, Clark, Sheezel, Rankin, all underperforming. Yeah. Look, Clark, it's a stressful watch just for him to get to 100.
Yeah.
Right?
As a non-owner, I thought today was going to be a 120 against Melbourne. With the points they've been leaking to defenders, I was seriously fearing a 120. I mean, Zach Reid went 104 against them. And there was a few others that did similar numbers. In terms of Zorko, he's becoming a bit of a concern now. I feel for people who trade him in at an elevated price, but someone like me who started him, at least I got those 3 130s to start, but that's 94, 82, and 70 now in the last 3 games. It's actually becoming a bit of an issue and something to watch, I reckon.
You know who's been playing well in those 3 games as well?
Jasper Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's linked, but it's the longer it goes on, the more I'm like, do I just pivot to Fletcher? Is he the new piggy?
Well, Fletcher's been getting a bit of the ball, but how's he actually going, like, Supercoach wise? Is he
like, we're talking 80s and 90s? Like, comparative to Zorko, we're looking okay.
I reckon that's your boy Joel Fraser all over again. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't go to Fletcher.
So you tell me I need to get there? I need to go get Jasper, the friendly ghost. There you go, new nickname.
Why
We're getting
not?
him in. Getting him in. No, don't go get Fletcher. Look, I think Zorko is a concern, but I mean, look, we look at his matchup. He's got Collingwood. Oh, his last game was 70 points. Or sorry, next game is Saints. He does. He's had a 141 in the system against the Saints. Gold Coast, he's seemed to play always against very
And
well.
Gold
138 and
Coast,
160.
yeah, and I think Gold Coast are one of the best matchups for designated kickers at the moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, and what do you
So
think of Sheezel? Like his low score, that he hasn't been hitting the heights of last year, obviously, and not worth his price tag, but he's only had a low score of 81. Like it's not the end of the world.
I think he's still a hold because at some point North have to figure out their role players, and at the moment Sheezel's role is not like they threw him in the halfback, which was good for
Mm.
us, and it definitely I think secured some safer ball for them. They just need it back there. Like Fisher, I'm pretty sure did something with his hammy as well. So I just feel like they're gonna have to throw him back there and like play some safe defensive ball first before they even consider trying to swing magnets in the forward line. I think he's still a hold. It's an okay floor. North are going to figure it out at some point, and they're either going to throw him in the guts or they're going to throw him at halfback. There's no way. I don't see the half forward role sticking for Sheezel. They can't. Like they just got an absolute flogging from Carlton. Like
Yeah, I
they
agree.
they're going to have deep and meaningful conversations during the week about roles. So yes, but yeah, no, Zorko, Clark, Sheezel, Rankin. I mean, Rankin just couldn't hit a target to save his bloody career at this point.
Mm.
Like,
And that late goal saved him as well to get to that 86.
yeah, and mind you, he had a few shots on goal he should have made, but whatever.
Yeah.
40% DE.
And he
So,
copped to the Bedford tag for most of the game as well. So, I mean, to
yeah,
come away with an 86, I'm actually not that upset about it, especially as a forward.
100%. 100%. All right. Do want to give a quick shout out to the 103 people hanging out with us tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, chaotic week. Make sure if you guys are here, hit the like on the video and hit subscribe. Also, go check out JG on Supercoach Swordplay. Those boys are doing heaps of content and doing some amazing stuff. Daniel Green took merit captain. I was hoping for more, but I have so many other issues building with my team structure. Cashen is now my rookie's gone. Yeah, look. Everyone's cash end's kind of gone to the floor at this point. All the rookies that we thought were solid are either sub now. I mean, I can't wait for sub to get removed from the game. It makes no sense. Like, I mean, Merritt, I think, is a fine captaincy score. I think he ended up getting where are we? Merritt 106. I mean, you take it, right? 106.
Yeah, that's fine. I've seen so many sub 100 captain scores this year.
Yeah.
A 106 is fine. And it was looking pretty bad as well. He was on, 40 entering into the third quarter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd be happy with 106.
And very similar story with Sarong this week as well, who just scraped to 102.
Yeah, big time.
So a lot of people feel that, Daniel. A lot of people do. Causer still has 4 boosts now after Gross sub. I mean, sure, those boosts going to come in handy for upgrade season for sure. I definitely saved the boost this week, just getting inside. So I think I'll definitely be using it next week to make some moves.
Yeah, big time.
Who do you think will be the Swan sub? Anyone but Cleary, and I'm happy. I don't know. I think it's literally going to be Sydney fans and truthers can speculate. As I said, Francis might be it. Hanley. I mean, I'm hoping it's Hanley as well. To be honest, I really just hope that because of Cleary's more unique role of being a really high forward player, like getting into the guts and providing tackles and all that sort of stuff, that it just saves him for being the sub because they want that forward pressure. So I'm hoping that saves him. Yeah, it's man, the chaos is going to continue if Cleary sub. It's going to be a closed super coach for the rest of the week and try not to punch walls, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't get my rookies right. Last week I had Reed and Trainer on bench. This week I had Pry and Hewett on bench. Trainer and Reed on field. Yeah.
Same here.
Yep.
Same here.
Yeah. A lot of people are in that boat. I mean, it's one of those things, right? Is you see one week they have a good game, you're like, oh, I made that. I'm not going to make that mistake again. And then the rookies flip. And I think like we've seen that a couple of times with Reed and Pryor specifically, that
Yeah.
one of them are usually having a really good game. It's very much like a Dunkley and Neil and a Sarong and Brayshaw sort of situation, but just more variance because they're rookies. It's tricky. It's tricky. Surf Coast, Callaghan only went big because Adelaide don't play defensive mid. Yeah, quite valid. Fan Footy saved me. Was set to field trainer over Cos, but saw on the live chat he was sub. Solid. Absolutely solid. Man, what do we got? Anderson was like a 120. I had 7 clangers. Yeah, Anderson had a bit of a quiet game, as more than I expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've actually been all along on Anderson more than Rao if I was to trade one in. But Rao again, a 130, was looking a lot bigger. He was on like 115, I think, going into the last quarter. So 130, you take it, but probably could have been more for owners. But I mean, for Anderson, still get 105 with like like Corey's saying, 7 clangers. I think that's showing that his floor is getting a lot better because he used to be prone to those 70, 60 scores when he was down.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like it's not all that surprising from a Noah Anderson perspective because this is kind of what we saw last season. But it's just, the floor's gotten higher than what it was last season. So you take it 100%. But man, Rao looks good. Like we're all waiting for the drop off, but it might be something that
Yeah.
never comes. Like,
Yeah, well, I think it was the exact same this time last season. I can't remember how many games it was till he started dropping off, but I mean, even Rao could be a trade in this week for Humphrey if you could afford it. Like
mm,
134 break even, he got 4 points under that, so he's going to be 555k roughly that with a good break even. Geez, I'd almost be considering getting him in.
I mean, it'd be really painful that the week you trade him in is the week he falls off. So that's
And I
again, it's
guess, yeah, and I guess his good runs over as well. Like they've played West Coast, Melbourne, North, and Richmond already.
yeah.
And what does he cop tags now? Like Jordan next week potentially.
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard because I mean you kind of see it sometimes. The fixture has a massive influence, sometimes it doesn't. A perfect example being we thought Sydney would influence Dacos, and it didn't. We thought the
Yeah.
rating Prems would influence the 120 break even on Dacos, and it didn't. Sometimes it just doesn't have that effect on some players, and Dacos is proving to be Mr. Invincible at this point. It's ridiculous. But we move on. We can still grab him next week. It's fine. Hewett on 7 halfway through the second term, and then just went ballistic with 17 touches and 2 goals in the second half. And that's literally it. He wasn't looking too flash for, that first part of the game, but then just took it on himself to make sure, he was very much involved in how, like, again, I think he's very much fighting for that spot, very much like a Gross and a Hall. So, do we see, I don't think with Hewett playing that role, I don't think we see Clay Hall come back in, unfortunately.
I agree. I agree big time. And yeah, I can't believe they made Gross sub as well. Like he was good the week before in a bad loss to Carlton, and a lot of Eagles fans said he was one of their only shining lights. Um, they're just impossible to get a read on at the moment. Those Eagles rookies.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like maybe it's worth holding a Hall just in case they do another rotation door, fix a rule, whatever it might be, because they got negative break evens. I mean, it was either a Hall or a Sardis traded out for me at the moment. And look, considering how the Bombers are playing with Setterfield in, that opportunity just doesn't look like it's coming for Sardis, unfortunately. As much as Scooby would hate to admit it, I think Sardis even didn't get started. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, and just before we do move on, I'm looking at Clay Hall's stats now in the waffle today. 26 disposals, 2 tackles. So had a good game, and I mean Tim Kelly can get recalled from a 20 disposal game. That wasn't much of a statement dropping
Yeah.
in the end, was it?
No.
And I actually watched bits and pieces of Essendon's VFL game tonight. Size was pretty good. Ended up with 31 touches, 5 tackles, which was one of his weaknesses, tackles.
Tackles?
So, I
Oh my
mean, the
goodness.
stats, stats-wise, pretty good. But I think Setterfield's been too good. I think he's going to take that spot a little bit more long-term now for Sidus. But I
Mm.
would not be surprised if Al Hawley gets dropped and Sidus' sub next week, though.
Don't tell me that.
Because
Don't.
Al Hawley had like a whole last quarter and he did nothing. And
Yeah.
like obviously I'm like you, I traded him in. But yeah, in the end he had 30% time on ground for 1 handball. Not the best. And
Yeah.
with Sidus banging the door down, it doesn't look good.
No, it is. I mean, this season, I mean, I thought things were chaotic last season being my first year, but boy, was I not ready for this roller coaster. Yeah, Josh Vitania for ages, rookie coach. Yeah, this is about Oral. I did think it was about Hewett. He wants an apology. Well, Joshua, it is my pleasure to give you an apology for this man who has just put anyone that doubted him in the dirt, essentially. So if you're game enough to take the risk on it, I mean, I feel like the risky plays are paying off this year. Like you take a Marek, you take a Long, you take a Hewett, you take a McLuggage. Like they're paying off. Even someone who brought in a Draper. Yes, the injury was, a freak injury, but man, he was looking good. He was looking so good.
And I think it's what gives me a bit more confidence to bring back a Matt Flynn. I mean, it's not ideal. In the end, going to be using 3 trades on him, getting him in, getting him out, and then getting him out again.
Yeah.
So it just, I think it's something you have to do after a 141 in 2 price cycles.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Maxi, Hewett and Whitfield, he loves them so much. A 171 and a 145. Yeah. I mean, this is why I wanted Whitfield. This is the Whitfield I brought into my team. Obviously, Norwood diminished any half backman last week. But this week, man, it's good to have some vindication on his price at least. So very happy I got on him for this game. But if you picked him up this week at a slightly cheaper price, I mean, props to you. Causa kept off Hewett due to the round 12 bye. I think most did as well. I mean, the play very obviously now is you get Hewett and Chera. You just get him in. It's McLuggage and Hewett being literally the top 2 mids. Who would have picked it? Oh my goodness, Maximilian has a projection of 24-12.
Jesus. That's going to be like well above par, 200 points above par, I reckon.
Yeah, you're going to have a really good week, Max. That's very jealous. I'm a jealous man.
Out of interest, what is your projection at the moment?
Oh, probably shocking. Let me refresh. I don't want to look at it. 2153.
And honestly, I don't think that'll be too far off par. But mine's 2208 at the moment.
I heard 22 and I already hate you. Go away. But you're off the stream. Fuck. Oh man, I mean, like I said, I think 2150 is definitely probably par given all the chaos. So if you're in the 22s, you absolutely take that this week. So I'm hoping my captain in Sinclair pops off at Marvel. One, if he gets his break even, I'd love it because then he comes even more unattainable and people that can't get him. But does he go a 158? I mean, hey, we've seen Dacos, Hewett pop off for 170s. Give it to my boy Sinclair, please. He's my captain. Make me have less suffering.
I mean, this season he's played 2 games at Marvel and he's gone 145 and 162. He loves playing there. Good last season as well. I don't have him captain, but as an owner, I hope he hits that 158 break even. I don't even care if it's way more than my Brayshaw 120 captaincy, but I think he's still pretty relatively low owned, Jack Sinclair. A lot of people jumped on, but he's pretty unattainable at 642k at the moment. But yeah, I'd love to know the ownership numbers, which I'm sure you're going to be looking at right now. But
currently 21%.
21%, yeah. See, like, that's pretty low, I reckon, still.
Mm,
Like, I always like to look at it at the flip side. That's 79% that don't have him. That's what I like to do.
exactly.
Yeah, and when you put it that way, it looks a lot more drastic.
It does. And then, I mean, to be even more relevant, only 29.8% of the top 1% have him.
So, yeah, again, like, over 70% of the top 1% don't have him. That's a
So
pretty big pod, especially those that, like yourself, I mean, you're in a good spot, that have the Whitfield.
was in a good spot. It's not there anymore.
But yeah, those that have the Whitfield, you kind of want to match him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be death riding Bailey Dale tomorrow because I know he's pretty highly owned,
Yeah.
coming off his 68. So hopefully another one of them would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, lovely. JCR, Lindsay roll doesn't look good now. Lots of rookie cash gen is in Cactus in one weekend. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Lindsay? I watched a bit of the game and it looks like it's what was his time on ground? Give me your thoughts on Lindsay while I look at his time on ground.
Yeah, I'm still holding the faith in Lindsay. Like, he's going to lose money this week. I think his break even at the moment is 64. So he's gone under that break even, but that's with a 9 in there. And that's the last
Hmm,
cycle the nine's going to be in there. That will drop out now. The only problem is he's gone from that wing role to start the season more to a lockdown defender now. It's not ideal, but I mean, 55 for a rookie, it's still not a horrible score. And I'd love to get a Scott's projection, but with Tigers and Eagles, his next 2 games, I think he's still someone that can reset his cash gen while scoring pretty well
for
doing it.
sure.
So yeah, I think he's the least of my Roys at the moment. Like, I
Mm,
mean, I've already got
definitely.
Camporelli. A lot of people still have your Hendersons and your Clay Halls. I traded both this round. Clay
Hmm.
Hall additionally wasn't in my trade plans, but when Moraes was named, I was like, I'm going to keep him now,
Yeah,
even though his break even is a lot worse. But yeah, I think there's a lot worse options than keeping Lindsay at the moment.
definitely.
Yeah, and just a side note as well, like for those that still have Nevitt like me, how frustrating is it that we're at Saturday night and we still don't have Geelong Hawthorn teams?
That's
Like,
ridiculous.
I know, and already copying a trainer to a Reed 38, a Humphrey 48. I would have loved to field Nevitt this week because I think in a full game he actually does have that scoring
For
potential.
sure. Yeah.
But if his name's subbed on Monday, where the hell do you go? You can't do anything. Like, you are literally stuck. You
Yeah.
cannot do a single thing.
Yep. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
as you said, I 100% agree. I think Lindsay's least your worries. As I said, that 9 will fall out of his system. He was back up to 80% time on ground. As JJ
Yeah.
just said, though, it might have just been a shift to more of a lockdown role. But 55 again, once that 9 rolls out, if he just gets around the 60s, he's going to make a little bit more cash, enough to make it viable for a downgrade and maybe a medium upgrade or a boost worthy. So it's just don't worry about it for this week. Wait till the 9's out of the system and then recess, I guess.
Mm.
Season is so safe, back to the top 1%. Yeah, look, mate, if I'm probably in top 5% now, maybe the top 3 at worst or best, maybe. I mean, it really depends. There could be a lot of top 1%ers having a shocking week at the same time. So you never really know. Max is projected at 2280. I think that's pretty solid.
That's
Um,
very good.
yeah, I'd say that's very, very good. We got Cochran as well. Is that, how do you pronounce that name? Before I
Oh,
do a
Cochran.
super coach, bro, and just not actually fumble it. So Cochran.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
Cochran.
if he's not sub, but who, like, all the options I could have used to go down to him have already played. So it's like, whatever.
Mm.
I can't move Cleary down to him because that hasn't made any cash yet. Like, it's, not really worthwhile. He does have a chance, but we're just hoping we get graced and blessed because there's been so much carnage. But given the round, I'm not counting on it.
Yeah.
Cheese. JG, the king of brain rot.
Now, this is backdating to the other night when we were in Supercoach God stream in the comments.
Yeah.
The poor guy searched up a few words that he didn't know from the chat, and I think we scarred him. I think we rattled him, and I think he's probably still recovering.
Yeah.
And a couple of poor scores today, and Briggs 27 definitely doesn't help him either. So prayers out to God.
Yeah. Praise out to God. He definitely needs a welfare check. I totally forgot about that. That long glazing session that left him with a traumatic experience,
He
to
was
say the
rattled.
least.
He was
Uh,
genuinely rattled.
we watched a boy grow into a man that night, I think. Not in the good way. Yeah, probably. Black's game is so unplayable these days unless you're monitoring the app consistently. These subs on Trainer, Gross, and Sard is ridiculous. The sub in general is just ridiculous. From what I heard, all 18 coaches voted to not have it in the game, but they still went with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
do think it's a matter of time before it's booted and you just have 5 on bench. But for now, it's a pain we just have to kind of take on the chin. Because man, Supercoach is almost. I have to agree. Like unless you're monitoring, I mean, I've got notifications from an X account that says all the subs. So I literally have notifications to know who the subs are of the game, and to even think that we might have to have that on to have a playable week is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So Joshua took the 97 from Pryor. You lucky bastard! Stop. He's got. Joshua's playing. So if you've got Hewett and now you've got Pryor and you've taken it, man, it's par this week. I mean, we kind of spoke on it before. A 2150, I imagine, is around the mark.
Yeah, I think and I think anything over 2-2 at the moment is pretty good by the looks of it. Just with all the carnage that's happened, like I think there's going to be some very, very rare teams that missed all of like your Zorkos, your Washcroft, your Trainer, your Reeds, your Humphreys, like your Lindsays. I think there's going to be a very, very small percentage of teams that miss all of it.
I think it's going to be your teams that aren't ranking well, but it's just gone, I like that player, so I'm going to get him in, or it's that sort of like mentality, and they're just going to somehow have a really good week. And some of them are probably going to take out the 1K for the top score and go, cool, I've had my fun with Supercoach, catch you later. And they go. So I mean, really, geez, it's one of those weeks, man. Absolutely one of those weeks.
And I think you'll get a pretty good read tomorrow night, even with Geelong Hawthorn on that Monday. I think most people only have like a Bailey Smith from those two teams. You have a very small few that still have Sander Connings. Some might have got more in. So I think tomorrow night you're going to get a pretty good read on what's a good score.
Yeah, I mean, really, the main players you might have is a Holmes, a Smith.
Oh, Holmes, completely
forgot
about him.
Yeah, the nerd himself. He looks like a massive dork. Look at my misso calls him a dork because he just looks like a nerd. He's like, oh, there's the dork, because I had him on my team last season, so it's the kind of nickname that's stuck. But and then mainly the mainly 3 from Hawks is probably a Meek, a Newcomb, and a Moore that people might have.
Yeah.
So look, I think Nevitt, if not sub, can definitely do well more than 11. Fingers crossed. I mean, in all fashion, it probably won't happen. Maybe he gets a 10.
Honestly.
Joshua, Will White, and Corey Durden, cash cows. Really? Let's have a look.
Now, Will White, coming off 3 goals against North, I think Scobes did a price projection for him, and he'll be mid 140s. So a little bit to pay, but for a forward, potentially. Obviously, it would have been nice to jump on him at 99k instead of a Tom Gross or a Sardar Hooley, but I mean, how good's hindsight?
Right.
But I think and I think the main one to get in is going to be Matt Carroll. I mean, only 260s, but a 99k defender, you can't really go wrong with scores like that. The only issue is, and it's good to see Supercoach Edge in the chat right now, does Matt Carroll hold his spot for a prolonged time? I would love that answered if you can for us, Damo.
If those who don't know, Damo, Supercoach Ed, is a bagger's boy. He should give us some good insights. So we're not, how far are we behind? We're not too far behind the comments, so we'll get there. Supercoach Pro Matting Trading Sharer. Yes, those who potentially moved on Sharer early on, not coping.
Not good.
Not coping. Briggs was a bad score, 100%. Again, everyone go check in on Supercoach God, please. He was up and about for Ned Long, and I think that's his peak of this round so far because Briggs has probably shot it into the dirt with Flynn going 141 as well. My projected, I think we just mentioned it before, is a 21.53, which I believe is around par, and you were a 22.08.
Yeah, 22.08. But I mean, looking at it now, that's with a max haul 62 on field over a Caden Cleary 49, who I think a lot of people would have Caden Cleary on. So, I mean, if I switch that around itself, it goes down to 21.95. So, projections are really hard to read. I
Yeah,
think you
it's
give or
still
take.
too early.
Yeah, especially when it's got like a Matt Roberts 99. You're looking at his last few weeks, and that's probably a score you take. And then like a Horn Francis 119, a Sinclair 126. Like these are pretty big projections that might not eventuate.
Yeah, that's it. It's projections are a tough one, guys. Don't get suckered into it, this early. We've still got tomorrow and Monday to go. So, I mean, as JG said, tomorrow night you could probably get a good idea of where you're sitting, because if you have only a few players to play. But look, I mean, like Bailey Smith, if that's all you got to play against in the Hawthorn game, you can pretty much get an idea of where you're at because everyone has him. So they're going to be moving with you with that as well. So, yeah, I think 22 plus, Tom, is a great score. You 100% take it. Daniel Green, I hope your lads are doing well and have a great Easter. Thank you so much, Daniel. And that is a great point. Given all the chaos that is happening, it just got to the back of the mind that it's Easter because it's just so chaotic. But no, thank you, Daniel. I hope you are having some good family time and enjoying your Easter break as well. I definitely know the extra days off is probably just getting consumed with hatred for Supercoach Carnage at this point. So, are you doing anything exciting for Easter, JG?
Just the family coming over. So, bought a slab of beers today.
Solid.
Humphrey's score. I might knock that off in 2 hours. A bit of a therapy session. But yeah, just family over, lunch, a bit of beers, and some quiet time, which is nice.
Solid, yeah, and I think that's the main thing is take the time off, especially if you work full time and you got a very manual job. Enjoy the day off and the days off, and grab some much needed rest. I would love to see you do this is JG after one beer of seeing train a sub, and then just keep going.
We might have to. I reckon that could be pretty good content. But
that'd be very funny.
DR is back obviously, and Supercoach Talk Back is going to be back tomorrow night on that channel. I'm meant to be on it, but we'll see how I go tomorrow night.
You might be too far gone.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah. So make sure everyone puts that in their calendar. Talk back with DR and the Saw Play crew tomorrow night. Hopefully, JG, if he's sober enough. But you know what? Even if he's not, he should still get on. You should still do it because it'll be funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
All righty. Trainer, a hold or a trade? I think a trade, most likely. If you have like a read and prior as well. What are your thoughts?
Well, you knocked the nail on the head before. I was looking at pre the round, I was looking at Pryor being my trade out this week to Matt Carroll. And then he went 92. Reed went 38, but his break even, as I said before, still going to be 15. So kind of felt like I was going to be forcing a rookie out to get that Matt Carroll in. And I need to do that trade to be able to fund your Matt Flynn's and your Petrarcas next week anyway. So looking at Scobie's price projections now, he's said that Trainer's going to have a break even of 76. So I think that's about time to go. I mean, he could go 280 pluses in a row like he has been going and reset it. But when you've got a downgrade option and you need that cash and it's upgrade season, 76 break even, 263K, that's well over 150K he made. I think you just cash it in.
Yeah, and that's really all you want from rookies, isn't it? You want that 150K mark, and if they get that for you, you take it and run at this point, given how cash gen's drying up so quickly.
Yeah.
DJ, should I chuck Maxwell on field over Cleary in case he actually is the sub? I would 100% do so. Has there been any updated reports on Garcia? Because I know he might have been a late out, which probably increases Hall's score ability, I suppose.
Yeah, there hasn't been any information, but he has gone from, I think the initial teams he was named on field, he's now named on the bench.
Yeah.
How much he ran into that, I'm not too sure. But
Yeah.
in terms of this comment, though, I'm thinking of fielding Max Hall as well. But the good thing is Cleary plays before Hall, so you'll be able to see if he is sub.
Yeah.
And then you pivot from there. So definitely an option to be able to have that flexibility and get Hall on if Cleary is sub, but you get that look at it, which is good.
For sure. A good question for you, because this is one I'm umming and ahhing. If Cleary is not sub, would you rather field Cleary or Davidson against the Saints?
If I had Davidson, I'd be fielding him for sure.
Yeah, okay.
St Kilda, I think the third easiest matchup for wingers. And I mean, that 129 was where Davidson was at Marvel. He also has a 39 at Marvel this season as well. But I think against a favourable matchup, if you have him, I'd be fielding him. Yeah, definitely field Davidson if you have him, I think.
Just a good general question for those listening, because I know a few might have held on to Davidson this week and backed out of some trades given the chaos. So if you got him, definitely a fieldable option. Stewart, 15 of my 23 have played, 10 have scored under 100, but my lowest is 82. It's nice when you miss the carnage. Man, lowest is 82. That's sexy. That's just steroid sexy at this point. And you guys know the theme. The later it gets, the wilder it gets in the streams. The filters just slowly fade away as the night goes on. So
that is pretty crazy, though. A low score of 82, but 10 players in the 82 to 99 range. 10 players missing a ton. That's a very niche little range there that he's missed out on. So, yeah, interesting.
Stuart, hop on X. Please tag me in a screenshot or send me a screenshot of your team, because I think we need this from educational purposes.
Yeah.
Supercoach Pro, thanks for chilling and hanging out with us, mate. Can't believe Merritt crawled his way to a 106 last quarter. Very clutch, very nice C option. I think we were expecting a lot more. A lot of people might have brought Merritt in to try to cover a missed Dacos VC. Didn't quite go as planned. But now he's got to watch Bombers game, unfortunately. How do you feel about that being a Don supporter, JJ?
Oh, I'd love to be able to watch Zach Merritt every week. It was him or Dacos, and to be honest, I actually got away pretty lucky because my initial trades, I was bringing Merritt in, but when Clay Hall was dropped and Moraes was named, I had to flick Moraes back in and trade Clay Hall instead. So I couldn't afford Merritt anymore, which then meant I got Dacos. So I only got Dacos over Merritt from a technicality, but it's not that bad watching Bomber games, is it? I mean, look at Adelaide GUS game today. There's a lot worse games you can be watching, that's for sure.
Such a scrappy game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My goodness. Dodgy Malaka, thank you for coming and hanging out with us on a Saturday night. Ethan Reed, what did he do? Did he do well? Did not score. I don't think a score is registered. Had 4 hit outs. And then, that's unfortunate, mate. Humphrey was a trap looking back in on it.
All the signs were there, though. Like, it makes no sense. He scored 200 plus scores in a row, was getting in that 30% CBA range, which, to be honest, those last 3 games where he's going 64, 74, and tonight 48, he's been around that mark still. But the problem is, first 2 games, he had 20 plus touches both games, and all of a sudden he's getting below 15s every week. And he just looks really slow, and he looks like he has no tank, and he just looks stocky and bulky. I'm not sure if that's just it's probably muscle, a bit of puppy fat. Like, he's only his 3rd year or so, but he just doesn't look like getting the ball. And as I say, I can't wait to get him out, but I still think he's 3 pre-seasons away from actually starting to become the player that, especially Damien Hardwick, think he's going to be.
The Dusty mold, apparently.
Yeah, Dusty, DeGoey, and Toby Green, he compared him to.
Well, maybe in a couple of years, sure, but he's definitely not where he's needed to be for what the pick was. Causa traded Lindsay when Gross sub. I mean, not horrible, but I think once that 9 drops out, I think he has all capabilities to reach his cash gen, which I think most are hoping for. The man Jonas Goat, what an OG in the community. TDK absolutely spanked Sherry. Sherry got all his points while TDK was on the bench for long periods. What's new? I mean, TDK spending a lot of time on the pine. I mean, Vossi does it consistently now. It's so annoying.
I'd love to know how Sherry goes 144, but Gorn goes 117. That Gorn game today, how that wasn't a 120 plus.
Yeah.
I don't understand the scoring system. Like, I genuinely don't.
I mean, I made a status today that was, ask, like, we need all the metrics publicly, because it's clear that champion data need to be held accountable for their scoring, because at the moment we're at the mercy of whatever woozy fairy dust is happening over there. Because I mean, like, there's just some scores that we see and you're like, how, like, it doesn't actually make logical sense, because you can literally grab, for example, the same stat line from 2 players and they would be on very different scores.
Yeah. And I mean, even today, like, a prime example, how there was only 18 points separating Brayshaw and Sarong. I will never be able to know. Like, Sarong, 18 handballs, Brayshaw, 18 handballs, but Brayshaw, 15 kicks to Sarong's 9. He had 4 more contested possessions.
Yep.
About the same. Like, he had 81% efficiency compared to Sarong's 63. He kicked a goal. Just 1 more tackle for Sarong. Like, how that's 18-point gap, I'll never know.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, is like, I think that's just where, I mean, I don't know if champion data actually pay attention to public ridicule, because I know there's a lot this season. But if they don't, they need to, because it's gonna push away a lot of their player base if it maintains this sort of direction.
Yeah.
Like, fantasy might become the new thing, ladies and gentlemen, just because
I mean, even last night, like, DeConning got given a free against that was a clear push by Wiedering. And they
I saw you go off on this.
And they never fixed it. They never fixed it. Usually they go back and fix things, but they kept that free kick against to DeConning. And I mean, that's 4 points, but I think it's more just like the consistency and accuracy that you want. Like, it's the premise. Like, it goes 100 to 104 for DeConning, but the fact that they're giving a free kick against him and not fixing it, it makes you think, how many other stats are they getting wrong that you're not keeping a track on?
And mind you, a very clear assignment of a free kick, like a very clear one.
It was extremely clear that it was Wiedering who pushed the player in the back.
Look, maybe there are people such as Kelly Underwood working at CD which confuse Lindsay with Turner.
I mean, Turner did pretty well to get 3 touches while he was subbed off. Like, I thought that was a miracle effort. Yeah.
Miracle effort. I looked at the tally, I saw 20, and I heard Turner. I'm like, huh? And then I heard it again, and I literally stood up just to get closer to the TV, thinking that, oh, my vision's going, I'm getting old. And then it happened again. I'm like, okay, what in the world? How has someone got this sort of job?
Yeah.
Like,
all whilst Turner was on the bench with the red vest on.
Yep. It's I think it also is as good as the orange team, to be honest.
Oh god, that's the all-timer. That's the most iconic one.
It is 100%. It is. Nathan, currently myself, I'm sitting at 21.53 and JG sitting at 22.08. But again, please don't read too much into it now. We've still got a handful of games to go, and look, there's a lot of chaos to come at this point. So don't stress too much. We think pars probably around the 21.50. Everyone's copped a hit. And if you haven't copped a hit, I want to know how you built your team and why. Like, it needs to be studied. It needs to be a case study. Patrick, this chat is definitely helping the Supercoach Blues. The lows are low, but the highs are highs. Cheers, fellas. Look, this is purely why Supercoach After Dark happens on a Saturday, because we take the chaos from the Thursday, the Friday, and even the Saturday game. And usually the Saturday games hit hard, because you might have a good first 3 games and then your projection goes down the hill on a Saturday after you have more plays that kind of shit the bed. And this is what we're here for. Come in, we're all hitting it, we're all getting the lows, we're getting the highs, but at least we get to kind of air it out in the community, and we can all kind of feel like, oh, everyone else is feeling just as bad as I am.
Yeah.
It's like an AA group, but for Supercoach.
Pretty much, yeah.
Literally. 22 around par, given the carnage. I think lower at this point. Absolutely lower. It seemed Wilmot and Fletcher have taken more kickouts lately. It does seem like that. They also just don't seem to be looking for Zorko to use the ball and be that main outlet. But again, Brisbane have been in shocking form, especially against Collingwood. So you imagine some things change. I mean, I think I spoke about it with the Good Friday stream I did with SCS Supercoach and Horse. It was an attitude problem with Zorko. It wasn't a physical thing. It wasn't an age thing. It was just his mental attitude. You know, Zorko's a dickhead. We know that. That's not new to anyone. And we knew that it was part of the gimmick of getting him in. And he's been pretty good lately, let's be honest, like attitude-wise. It was bound to come out at some point, right? So, I mean, look, if you started him, we've got some really good scores out of him. But yeah, if you've paid an elevated price for him, it's pretty bittersweet at the moment. Studi, one of my league matchups is the projected 23.72 without both Dacos and Hewett. Oh, that's nuts. That is nuts. Stewart is projected 23.67 with Dacos VC, but with an E Hewett still to be looped in. Ooh. That is looking good, Stuart. You're going to have a massive week. Supercoach Pro, Fisher injured, help Sheezel surely. I mean, you'd think so, right? Surely. What else are they going to do?
Hope so. I don't know. McCurch has been pretty out of form. Maybe he's the one that goes back to halfback. Hopefully,
yeah.
Sheezel.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen a few people like cause and make comments that Parker's spending too much time in the mid and they need to throw Sheezel more in the guts and send Parker forward. I honestly think Clarko's just trying to get Parker in there for some like leadership for the young ones, but it should not be in the midfield at all. Jonas, go talking about your favorite pick of the season there, JG.
Yeah, I just can't wait to look at my team with either Petrarca or Warner and then instead of that prick.
Yeah. Oh, another member, Shy47. Thank you so much for coming in, mate. Appreciate it. No basketball jersey tonight. I was too depressed to put on a basketball jersey. Didn't feel right. It's been an absolute carnage of a weekend. Humphrey over Marek will haunt me all season. Can't wait to turn him into Dacos Monday night. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to share JG the same. Can't wait to see him leave the team at this point. Big trap signs, I think. But, I mean, look, as you said, I think at some point he'll be very Supercoach relevant, just not yet.
Yeah, definitely not yet.
Oh, this is going to be a big sting. Accidentally captain Zorko instead of VC. It has ruined my whole weekend.
Stiff. It's really stiff.
I mean, these mistakes happen. I did it in my first year last year for sure. But yeah, it's some of these simple things. It seems to be like that. If you don't nail your VC and C, it hurts. Like I've been so far kissed a little bit with the players that I've got where I've had very average VC and Cs, and I'm talking like sub-ton captains at some points and managed to do okay. If I just nailed two of them, maybe 60% of them, man, I'd be flying. But shows the importance of it. I will just touching on Brisbane. Who was the player that we should have our eyes on? It was Dunstall. Yeah, exactly. Dunstall. I mean, we're screaming for rookies. Could he be the one?
I hope so. I mean, at 80, it sucks that it's his first game, and it's not like the second one, which will be in 2 price cycles. But
yeah,
just it's such a hard rating when it's teams like Brisbane that are genuine flag contenders. Like, how many games is a Tunstall going to get? And from memory, Tunstall's actually been around for a few seasons now, and he gets games here and there. I'm quickly looking it up now, but yeah, since 2022, he's had 3 games, 2 games, 4 games, and now 1 game this season. So,
that's not promising.
Yeah, but I mean, their averages 42, 22, and 23, and 88 on the weekend. Like, does that keep him inside? I mean, 0 goals isn't ideal. 15 disposals also on paper doesn't look that great, and only 3 tackles. Again, that's looking pretty confusing how he ended up on 88. But yeah, he's definitely one to watch if he can hold his spot after next week.
Definitely. I'd say I think we'll be looking at really odd options for cash gen. Yeah, Flynn is putting his hand up. Like, you
Yeah.
might just grab a Carroll and a Flynn next week. Like, maybe everyone's looking at upgrades, but maybe you're like, oh, cash gen's pretty important. And it is very important for continuing like upgrade cadence throughout the entire
Mm.
season. Yeah, it could be a system where everyone's gone for a Dacos and a Merritt and a Stewart next week, or a Sherry at bottom out price, and they leave their cash gen, and then maybe the rookies don't show up. Whereas you've gone to Flynn and a Carroll, held off on using a boost, and then you make a play later in the season to catch up. Like that sort of thing can work. But it's just sometimes rookies come out of thin air, like, and they do. Other times you get stuck with a Kako, for example.
Yeah, and you're so correct that we're gonna have to get creative about this cash gen, like bringing
Mhm.
in a Flynn. A lot of people aren't gonna like getting in Flynn because they've already traded him out.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to swallow your pride. And I mean, his break even it's going to be really, really high. And I think the added benefit with him as well is he's probably going to score while doing it as well. So you're getting two good things out of Flynn. You're getting scoring potential and cash
Yeah.
gen. Like to go 87 and 141,
Mhm.
um, especially that 87 against one of the hardest matchups. I think you got to get him in just with how much this cash gen is going to dry up now.
Yeah. I couldn't agree anymore. It's I think Long is still, given the rookies that are on offer, Long may
Mm,
even be an option as a, like, you go half an upgrade and you get in Flynn and Long next week to find middle ground of cash gen and some decent on-field scoring, and you hope they get maybe a 90 average to help cover your bases.
yeah.
Maybe they're a little bit slower to make some cash, but better than having a Hall not play and you have to field a donut or hope a Hewett doesn't get dropped, a larger Hewett. Or you have a Kako, for example, who you were hoping had a bigger game against West Coast, and it never
Mm,
came.
yeah. I mean, Kanga's doing his job. Like, still to get to 55 with no goals, I think's promising.
Promising, promising.
Like I think he's still going to end up making like a decent amount that you can cash him in for. It's
Hmm.
definitely a lot better than some other players. But yeah, I was hoping for a bigger spike score against the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was hoping for a decent score that I could loop Henderson with, and it never came. I was like, oh, it's a 55. I'm taking a run on Davidson or Cleary for that. So
Mm.
anyway, just how it is this week, apparently. Still have Bice, Marek, Cos, Palpepper, and Kako making good money to eventually upgrade. Yeah, I got Bice is going to make plenty of cash. Marek still looks absolutely solid. Cos can bounce back. If he does another 40, he's like a must trade out next week for sure. And Palpepper's still got plenty of cash to make.
Mm.
Is Kako a trade out at the moment? I don't think so. I think you can hold on to him because he's still going to make cash at this point.
Yeah. With all these dead rookies, like he's the one that with that mid DPP as
Yeah.
well, you got a bit of flexibility with him. And looking at Sco's projections now, he's going to go up to 209k with a 32 break even. So
Yeah.
I mean, you just hold him with all these dead rookies that are starting to appear.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. You try to hold on to the ones that are playing. Like Davidson there might be a situation where Davidson actually does a spike score of, say, 90 and
Yeah.
resets his cash gen. There's no way you're moving him on next week.
Mm.
Not a
Yeah.
shot. Not a shot.
Yeah.
Even Robert, if Roberts even does 100 this week, you're not moving him on. You take the cash loss because now he's giving you points on field and you get to save a trade and potentially just do a rookie fix up next week. Like
Mm.
it's a lot of preparing for winter if Roberts and Davidson, for example, who most would have traded out, I imagine, this week, they come good. The people that Hull are probably getting might have a chance to get ahead again at some point. Like there might be a turning point in the season where it just turns around where they might have to do a double downgrade in round 11 and you're able to do an upgrade and get that primo ahead or whatever it might be. So big picture. Gotta try and do some big picture thinking.
Mm.
Michael, have Hewett, Flynn, and Brayshaw captain. Awesome stuff. Still looks to lose thanks to trainer sub. I think you're ahead of most because that sounds like a Flynn hold and whoosh, hold the faith, and the faith paid off. So, Joshua, thoughts on Setterfield? You're the Dons man. What's your thoughts from a Supercoach perspective?
Yeah, well, when he plays, he does score. I think he's gone 110 and 99, but at 462k, I don't think that's enough to bring him in. I mean, we have a good run with Collingwood, North. I guess Sydney will be a bit harder, but he doesn't cop a tag. Dogs, Richmond. Like, it's a decent run for an inside midfielder, but I just think at 462k, you're probably looking at a Ned Long instead at low 300s.
Yeah,
You're
for sure.
prioritizing a Matt Flynn. Yeah, I wouldn't be going near Setterfield, but pretty happy in draft. I picked him off the waivers in one of my leagues. So, I mean, that's a good little pick if he's still in the waivers for whatever reason, but not in classic.
Yeah, not in classic for sure. But yeah, I mean, like it's just Setterfield is just going to hold that spot, and start of season never even started. It ended before it began. Supercoach Pro reckons cash gen will come back. Always fat cows coming. Do you have faith that that's happening? I mean, we kind of we all get stressed out, but they eventually do come. But is it potentially different this season?
Like they come every week, but I mean, we're really starting to get thin at this point of the season. Every year, mid-season draft presents a few. And I mean, the perfect scenario for Flynn would be have him for maybe 4 weeks, make some quick cash gen, and I think my boys are going to be drafting a ruckman in the mid-season draft with Brian and Draper going down consecutive weeks. Whether that's a Braden Crossley or another one in the state leagues, you could potentially bring in a 99k ruck for Flynn at 400k in 4 weeks' time, and that's a big cash gen little thing you can do. And so I'll just put in the chat size back next week. Probably not, but whenever he does get back in as well, he's probably a downgrade option. Maybe a Josh Smiley can get a debut. There are a few that you could probably see coming in at some stage, but it is looking pretty dry. I'd be interested in how many rookies you still have to get rid of. Like, I mean, for me personally, I've got Bice, Trainer, Reed, Pryor, Levi Ashcroft. Hopefully, Lindsay kickstarts, Marias, Nevitt, Max Hall, Kako, Cleary. But other than that, it's pretty much dead rookies with Alhorley and Camporelli and the likes.
Yeah, if we're not including dead rookies, then yeah, I've got Trainer, Reed, Pryor, Baby Ashcroft, Lindsay, Marias, Davidson, Bice, Kako, and Cleary. And then, Boyd, I think, is just Boyd and Campo are probably the common ones that most people have. I've still got Henderson and Hall and traded in Alhorley this week. So, well, I just hope Alhorley can somehow cop a non-sub game and we get a decent score. We can potentially loop in and get ahead of that cash gen, while others might have to pay up for him. That's essentially the plan I had when I looked at him.
You speak about Archer Reed. I mean, you speak about Boyd.
Yeah,
I wish I could go back in time and start Archer Reed instead. I mean, he's already made 100k, has a 19 break even, he's just scored 71.
Yeah.
God, that would have been a massive 120k he'll probably end up making.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those missed things, right? I mean, the loop in R3 isn't horrible, but it does have a cost when you do have someone like an Archery pop their head up and make cash. I think most people, at least for me, I kind of followed the group of Livingston last season, and you might swing them around with like a Luke Jackson last season. That was a pretty common play to help with the R2 position. But Boyd, again, not that it doesn't have that flexibility, so it hasn't played out as well. So those that went Archer Reed, definitely a smarter choice. Before we do move forward, the Stewart, who mentioned that he hasn't got a sub 82 score, has actually sent me his team on X. So I'm going to read out the players. We've got a Nick Dacos VC. We've got a Ned Long, Baby Ashcroft, Tom DeConning, Daniel and Sheezel from North, Brayshaw, Gawn, Sarong, and Clark with a Langford score, an Oliver, a Murphy Reed, and a Rankin. And then he's got an emergency Hewett score as well. So, man was not kidding. His lowest score is 82.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well played, Stuart. Honestly, well played to you. Jonas Goat, I know exactly who this is going towards. Can't believe all the posers on YouTube actually believe Sardis was a better footballer than Set of Nuts. 19 tackles in 2 games versus Sardis' 9 tackles in his last 8 games. Scoobs, that's coming after you, mate.
Yeah, that's just it. Like Setterfield adds such a different dynamic to that Essendon midfield.
Yeah.
And yeah, 19 tackles. That's massive for a team that really lacks defensive pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think he's getting
Cool.
back in.
Definitely not. Definitely not. All right. We are getting close to an hour behind comments. So we're going to fly through a few. If we've already touched on it, I am going to skip past it, unfortunately. I am going to highlight DJS78, another member of the channel. So thank you for jumping in, mate. Weird round for me. Forgot to put the VC on Dacos. Avoided trainers 2 points, but I'm copying Gross 11 dud. Yeah. I mean, hey, 11's better than 2. So, I mean, win. It's a win.
True.
She says, can't believe Archer Reed making real Archer Reed making money. Vomit all over the clothes again, scoring a 9. Now he's probably one of my best rookies. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's one of those rounds, man. One of those rounds. I can't believe we missed getting cash back to Archer Reed. Yep. How about 8 players we could easily be thrown out of a moving car this week? How many tradables do you fellas have in your team? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have a lot of trade options, like a Washcroft, trainer now, even a Reed, like a Zach Reed, people might think of. Who else have you got? I mean, you got all your dead rooks that you could trade out. You're probably holding a Lindsay, you're probably holding a Moraes if he gets another 50+ score. There's a whole heap of names that you could use as tradables.
You missed the biggest one of them all.
Oh, sorry. It's because I don't have him. Humpty Dumpty. How could I forget? James, you reckon it's worth going Ashcroft? I hope you mean Washcroft. I would not be trading out Levi. Pepper and Davison out for Dacos, Flynn, and Carroll. I don't want to trade Ashcroft, but this is the only way I can get Flynn and Dacos. What do you reckon? Do you hold both Ashcrofts, or is there a case to be made to trade out Big Bro Ashcroft?
There's definitely a case to be made. Like I've been pretty steadfast, even though he's good scoring, that he's not top 10. Probably not even top 12, especially with Butters and Bond back. And a few others like Dacos starting to get going now. Coming into this round, he's averaging like 103, so he wasn't in that range. But a 170 pops him right back in there.
Yep.
And then you've got like a few others that have been really popping off as well. So I think you can definitely trade him. But then again, I'm also of the mentality, and our good friend Supercoach Pro, who's in the chat at the moment, is also of this mentality that you upgrade around these primo/mid prices. That's why we're holding a Roberts, or I'm holding a Roberts. That's why Supercoach Pro has held on to Callaghan all this time and been rewarded this week. I mean, if you are able to upgrade around these guys and still upgrade, you probably still do that way, but there's definitely merit into getting rid of Big Bro Ashcroft.
Yeah, I think so. Like, if he's the only vehicle to like a day cost, sure, you can make a case for it. But he will bounce back. Like, and this is the thing. This is why Roberts is being held. Is you can. It's getting late, guys. It's English is not going to be so great. They can bounce back, and they get Roberts at SCG. It's going to be great. So I'd be trying to hold on to a Washcroft, but trading a Davidson SPP next week, I don't really have any issues with. You're getting rookies off field for 2 better scorers essentially, so that's fine. Worth holding Hall and Gross for now. See what happens with the rookie rotations. Nasai has been scoring more. I don't know if that's true to Sinclair, but Sinclair's definitely ahead in that case. Jinxie, Tigers for the flag. My lid is still on. Calm down. The lid has not come off. Yes, Greek. I feel like most people are going to be playing chess to try and get some poor scores off field and take some emergency scores. Langford, I mean, he's been a pretty solid option from a 180. You could have paid up for him. He had a ripper game today.
Yeah, I mean, that I nearly got him. And then that first game that I didn't get him, I think it was like a 39 or something. But since then, he's been good, including a really crucial goal late today as well. So yeah, he's been a good under the radar pick, and there's been a few of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like people just like, oh, that price tag, or oh, he's got a quick, quiet game, and you just get put off the pick, and then all of a sudden they come out and be one of the best rookies. Like a Hewett, Elijah Hewett's a perfect example. Injury cloud, was not going to play this week at the start of the week, and then all of a sudden came in. If you held him for the DPP, which I think most people would have, you got rewarded. It's crazy. Daniel is going to try to turn Kako into Martin. He's going to try and make it work. I think that's a solid play to try and make that work. Absolutely.
Got to find like 300k though. That'll be hard.
May not be, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends if Davidson makes more cash, you could potentially flip a Davidson and Kako to him. If you got the flexibility, you could go Kako, maybe Kako into flex, swing him down to Carroll, Davidson up to Martin.
Yeah, that's true.
Might work. How will you guys score this week? Through prayers, hopes, and dreams. Is essentially it. How the hell do we upgrade now? Yeah, we just kind of wait and see. Anything above 22 is the consensus, at least that we have at the moment. Jason already traded Stewart out, same boat, and Flynn, same here, but think I might bring them back in, ranked in the 30,000s, hoping my projected of 2302 will save me. Yeah, well, let's hope you get 2302. Again, we touched on this a fair bit, but projections are hard to read this in the midpoint of the round. So hopefully you still get above 2300. That will put you well ahead of the competition. As we can see here with Crazy, he's gone 2330 as a projected so far, which is solid. But JG, Stewart and Flynn. Most people probably would have traded out Flynn. I started Stewart, then traded him out after that 9 and injury. Are they worth bringing back into the team at this point? I know Flynn we pretty much made the case for. So I think the consensus is yes. But what about a Stewart, for example? Let's just say he does like a 100, or is there a number he has to hit this week for you to be confident to bring him in next week?
Well, I had almost booked in Roberts to Flynn. Roberts to Stewart this week if Stewart showed a good sign. I mean, a 160 break even is probably going to get to around 450k, which for someone who now seems like he's not the tag target anymore, I think it's switched to Holmes. And I think that's massive because the problem of Stewart the last couple of years has been he was the tag target, and it got to the point where the Cats had to trial him in the midfield, and that ended up being pretty good. But a 450k Tom Stewart, it's going to be hard to say no to, and he's played 2 full games this year, both 100 plus scores, including a 118, which was after a 1 week off with that knee injury. So to get 118 with probably still a bit of feeling in that knee, it shows the caliber of player he still is at 32. But I think Flynn needs to be that priority if you can only get one, especially with like an 87 and 141 at that price, number 1 ruck role.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can get both, I'm not against getting back a Stewart as well.
Yeah, I tend to agree. That's why I started him. Is I definitely saw him being at that caliber. It just, maybe it was a hold. And look, the hold could have worked given how the rookies came around in that defensive line. And potentially, even if you held Stewart, if you got a read off field or a trainer off field this week, you're absolutely laughing because that's going to be a very big kiss to anyone who has Stewart. But yeah, I definitely think if he gets around the 100 mark, he's very much I'm not going to say must have, but if Roberts does shit the bed, absolutely, like lock him in for that spot. Like it's a no-brainer. DB95 taking Hewett and Pryor, but faded Levi to start the season. I said he was going to be sub, was playing in a cricket final. Yeah, unfortunate. Look, I still would have gotten him round 2 in or anything like that, but yeah, Levi Ashcroft, tough miss if anyone didn't get him in. Yeah, Cheese. Did Track do enough to interest you guys? I think he can score well in the role. Kicking has been a problem for sure. We were talking about this earlier today, weren't we? That, where's the pass mark for Track? And I think he passed it.
I think he has too. Like, that's 3 scores 90 plus now. He's gone 92, 96, 94, and he looks a bit more confident each week. Again, missed a sitter goal. Just like last week as well. Like, he converts these goals and he's going 100 plus. So still hasn't gone 100 plus yet. And initially I did say I'm not going to consider him until he goes 100 plus, but I think 3 92 plus scores in a row is pretty good as a forward. It's going to be 480k. the cheapest that he's been since 2019 when you average 81. Like, I mean, this is coming into this year, that's from 2020 to 2024, all 100 plus averages. So I think he's the one, and I think he's done enough for me, especially with Tigers and Eagles next too. And I think his role's also looking a lot better each week as well.
Yeah, and again, all very logical points is the role is improving. The only thing letting him down is can't kick straight between the two posts. But these are things that you would assume naturally improve over the season. You know, that DE cleans up a little bit. He changes his patience when kicking or whatever it might be. We know the caliber of player he is. We know the ceiling that he has. He's just having again coming off the injury that he has come off. And the frustrations that have been at Melbourne. I think we might have seen a turnaround at the moment. They've got their first win in the bag. They've got some confidence back in against an outside chance for a premiership team as well. Like a win against Freo is massive for the group at Melbourne on a confidence level. Gorney stepped up as a captain and put them on his shoulders as well. I think we finally see Melbourne turn the corner. So that also kind of builds some confidence in me as well to, again, locking that very valuable spot at F6 track. Essentially,
yeah, you have to get it right. You
have to get it right. I say that, but if Moore comes out the gate and scores a 120 this week with 50% CBAs, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard, and especially if Warner comes out tomorrow and goes 100 plus against Port Adelaide, like it's going to muddy the waters even more. And I mean, SC
For
Pro,
sure.
a good friend, is in chat again saying N Martin, and we spoke about that before. He's again another one that you could fit in there. So it's tough.
Well, sure. Frankie projected of 24-21. Holy moly, mate. Good projection.
My God.
You're going to fly this round, mate. Absolutely. Make sure you come check in with us in tomorrow to let us know how your projection's tracking. Again, tomorrow night, talk back with DR on Sort Play Supercoach or Supercoach Sort Play, whatever the order is. It's too late to keep note anymore. Costa, well, Ashcroft flies a jog around playing with his. Does he? Does he really? I think he runs around making sure his hair is stable and looking good at all times. Targets next round. Look, at this point, who knows? I think we have a Davidson and Roberts to play to really make our targets locked in. As I mentioned before, Supercoach Edge, Damo, a big Blue Baggers boy, loves Walter White as an option. So that's solid. And he reckons Carroll is an absolute gun. Damo did mention about, without Pitnet coming into the team, I think we saw Lewis Young come in as the tall, which meant Carroll could come back in as that third tall defender. They also he was a good ball handler with the ball from what an eye test perspective, at least. He's definitely done enough to make it a lock-in trade target for me next week.
And just on Pitnet as well, I think the Conning owners, including myself, and I think you as well. Do you have the Conning?
Yeah.
I think we can probably bank on another week at least without Pitnet, because looking at the VFL stats, not sure if it was a full game, but he lost the hitouts to Teakle 23-14. Had 17 touches, but 15 handballs and only 2 marks. So I don't think that's a game against Bryn Teakle, who's not that great either, that gets you into the team. So, yeah. Hopefully he stays out for a little bit longer.
Yeah, solid. Josh is talking about Durden as well. He is at a higher price, though. Because Abs did move Chera. Yes, I think everyone knows that very memorable move Abs did on Chera. But again, both Finn and Chera seem to come back guns blazing. So they come back with machine guns instead of water pistols. Damo, I don't know if this is referring to Carroll or Durden, but says we'll stay in the team for as long as possible. There isn't anyone to displace him unless Foss wants to play one less tall and bring back a Jordan Boyd. But there are no other tall defenders to displace him. I think it's referring to Carroll there as well.
Yeah, that was when I asked him, do you reckon he'll stay in? So
yeah,
definitely about Carroll, and that's pretty positive.
Yeah. Geez, we are so far behind. You guys have been nuts in the comments. So much appreciated. Again, consistently, like 120 viewers. Like, you guys are absolutely smashing it. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Again, we're just as displeased and sad and depressed as you guys. We just happen to have a platform to share it. So yeah, make sure you get the stream. maybe I should change it to Supercoach therapy sessions. Yeah, instead of after darks. But no, make sure if you are in here, give the stream a like, just to show the love. Make sure you check out JG on Supercoach Sword Play, as they have combined with Scoobs from Supercoach Hub. So boys are doing amazing work. A lot of coaches were bringing in Dacos, Flynn, Dirt, and Carroll in this week. I believe so. So if you want like a point of difference, I don't think a lot of people are going to try and get a Sherry at a bottomed out price. People might miss Stewart. There's going to be a lot of options that might get missed because of these main targets. So could play it very differently. And Doma also adds, and Young is showing much better form up forward. Would be stupidity sending him back to defense structurally for Carlton. I mean, it is Voss. It's not far out of the hemisphere to him to do something silly like that. And then he says that Durden is finally showing great signs in our answer to a small forward woes. So maybe some promising things to show for a Durden pick to get in. Brady Eva projected at 2252, ranked at 528. Solid rank, mate. Hard to tell if that's any good. What a weird round. I think 2250 probably keeps you at, I mean, at this stage, probably put you, if that close, it will probably keep you around that rank, I imagine. Or do enough to keep you at that rank. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'm slightly higher than him in rank, but a lower projection. So I'm probably going to be expecting a drop if I go under 2200. But I think 2250, you should hold rank or maybe even go up. There's been a lot of carnage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's one of those weeks where it's really hard to predict what's going to happen with rankings. You might score a 2150 and be in the top 1% and still somehow remain in the top 1% just because some others took some bigger hits. So is what it is. Demo Young is a momentum killing. Joe just doesn't like him. That's fine. What score does Davidson need to get to go up 15K? That's a great question. I imagine it's a ton plus at this point. Let's have a look. If he goes 100, yeah, it's literally around the ton. If he scores a ton, rough estimates are around 16K. So you'd want at least a ton from Davidson. Ross the boss, welcome in, mate. Was about to change my trades, bring in Never and Cos back in for Trainer and Davidson. Shocking. Thought Trainer could have at least got a 40. Yeah, no, not at all. Rhino, what do I do with Dunkley? You hold. Are you a Dunkley owner, JG?
No, and I would absolutely hold him as well if I did.
Yeah. I say, yes, he's had 2 down games, which is unfortunate if you didn't start him and he didn't get that massive spike score, which no one could have predicted, not even me, by the way. But they will turn it around. Brisbane were shocking this week. So I think it was an overall team thing. Neil, again, it was one of those games where he could highlight himself super coach wise and get a 113. So, and let's be honest, it was due for Neil owners to get repaid like yourself, JG, who I know you have.
He's been the most frustrating Aaron. I mean, he's already copped the 41 and 71 point games from tags, and he's got Winhagen next week. So
yeah,
I'm really fearing next week as well.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. Sardos or Trainer out. I think they're both fine trade outs, especially if Sardos isn't named. I mean, trade down targets, we've pretty much covered off who you could probably look at. So we won't really dive into that. Kevin, 111 online boys, nice work. Thank you, mate. Again, it's therapy session. Everyone's free. Why go to psych when you can come here to two degenerates? Absolutely in the same boat. 90% Garcia is laid out. Yeah. So if that is in mind and you have Max Hall, get him on field. He might have a spike game. Knack trading in Dacos, Flynn, and Carroll. Pretty common trade. Should I trade out O'Sullivan or Trainer along with Mercy Reed and Lindsay? I mean, I feel like you trade out Trainer before O'Sullivan at this point, even before looking at scores.
Yeah, I would too. I think, depends which O'Sullivan that is. If that's Connor, I'd probably hold Connor over Trainer. Yeah. If it's Foss though, I think Foss went like 27 today or something like that. So
what a horrible starting pick in Foss. Got sucked into those bloody high draft rookies. A flag Dacos to get both Draper and Flynn in this week. I thought it was a power move. Oh, so close. I know Squiddy from Insight Fantasy got in Draper and he was having a ball up until Draper went down, which really, it's so bittersweet because you're like, yes, what an absolute pick this is. And then for that carnage to happen as well. Oof. Jason Spewing traded Max Hall this week, but I would have kept him instead of Trainer, who was my flex, but I was at work. Yeah, I think a lot of people got stitched up with these late subs and all that sort of stuff. Supercoach Pro at least grabbed Marek. So I'm fairly sure Brad grabbed both Dumpty and Marek as well. So he kind of was able to keep the better of the two, which looked okay. Shouldn't have traded the horny one. Wasn't worse antipod the last 2 weeks. I think many are in the same boat, though. Many are in the same boat. Horny Man has been quite well. Trading us very, very good. You kept Horny Man, didn't you? Or did you trade
I
him?
sure did. Yeah,
Okay.
I kept him.
Good boy.
Thank God. Yeah.
Good man. Brad, shocking. Back to eating crayons for you. Gone was a 150 that was cooked. CD is cooked.
I couldn't agree
Legit. I perfectly said, mate. Hump Fraud, very much so. JG, I don't think you could say it any better.
I've never hated to pick more than him.
Yep. Don't edge me, says Supercoach Pro. Very, very funny. Damo does it. He's good at edging. DJ, if you had the option to reverse Holmes to Davidson and bank the 260K, would you consider this with the options we'll now have next week? It'll set me up to grab Dacos and Flynn without having to sideways. Ooh.
It's tough. I think Holmes will sneak into top 8 defenders. I really like him. But getting into Dacos is pretty big. And Flynn, obviously, we've spoken about how big he is to get in as well. Yep. But I think he could probably work around keeping Holmes and getting Flynn as well. But it's just how much do you want Dacos? Do you want to spend 600K plus on him? You probably do, because I don't think he's going to cop any more tags in the future that are going to drop his price.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, what's his run looking like? Let me just quickly get it up. We'll just see what could potentially be coming. So, Mike Cup Durham, Mike Cup Atkins. So, like, again, we expected these 3 games to kind of even out the price and potentially keep him under 600K. That's not going to be the case anymore. So if you need Dacos and you absolutely want him, next week you have to get him. So that's the only way to do it. Definitely reverse the trade. I don't mind the Holmes pick. He's definitely around the market top 6. Dacos is very enticing. Don't get me wrong. There is so much value next week. And I think if you look season long, you might fall behind a little bit now because Dacos might go off the chain. However, come season end, you might be an extra primo on field if you go value next week. So do keep that in mind. Jonas Go, yeah, Viney did a real number on Sarong while Brayshaw ran around on his own as he pleased. Should have easily gone 40+ point gap. I think JG will 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. And then Mr. Zorko mark and kicking the game. This is what I mean. Like, it's just champion data. Please explain. I've already issued it to him 2 weeks ago. I might have to issue it to him again. Underwood is awful. She needs to go. Yeah, it's mute worthy at this point, isn't it? You'd rather watch the game on mute than listen to someone not know the orange team and then also get a player wrong 3 times in a row. Supercoach Edge, I got to fuck off all the comic book guy type stat guys that have been counting the stats to prevent human error, easily automated using AI software to analyze disposals, playings, etc. Mate, go work at Champion Data for us. Give us all the insight, please. Or someone go put in a job application at Champion Data and just be our insight man.
Please.
Yeah, so we've pretty much kind of gone over these. Any way you can kind of get some dead rookies off. I mean, look, Murphy Reed, I still think it's viable to hold next week. Lindsay, viable. O'Sullivan could be viable. Yeah. Trainer's probably the only must trade out, I would say, out of that. Underwood also said Melbourne were the red and black.
Jesus.
Okay, let's keep going. Please explain to me, Brayshaw holding the ball, Melbourne kicked a goal, didn't lose a single point. Yeah. It's pretty much champion data. 23-26 projected inside top 5%. No Dacos or Hewett, can't be mad. You absolutely take that for sure. Brad's taken a coffee. Mate, you probably made a coffee without even needing to make a coffee. You probably accidentally grabbed a Musashi pre-workout can from the fridge and drank it accidentally.
The funniest thing is, as well, it's a pre-workout that has beta-alanine in it, and that gives
Tingles.
you itchy skin. So he would have been sitting on that pod with his itchy skin, wide-eyed, thinking he's drinking. The funniest thing for me wasn't that he was drinking a pre-workout. It was the fact that he thought it was an alcoholic beverage. That's what got me the most. So yeah, we love Brad.
It's yeah. Brad is a unique individual who we love very, very much. Shy Fox putting the Get Rid of Underwood. Yeah, 100%. Supercoach Edge admits it himself. He's always edging. This is why you got to go check out his channel and definitely subscribe to his stuff. Does amazing work over there, especially with the Round Remix, new edition this season, and it is amazing. Some of the songs they put out. Chris, does anyone have Dacos, Hewett, and Whitfield, and one of Flynn or Vlosten? I have seen teams that have pretty much all four except Vlosten, and it makes me want to throw up. It makes me want to be cheese and just throw up all over my clothes. Supercoach Pro need to be part of your crew. Oh, that edgy. That's an understatement, my friend. I think JJ can agree. I'm surprised he didn't get involved in our traumatic experience with God.
True. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, you missed out on a good time there.
Yeah, you missed out on some very, very funny comments.
Yeah.
A learning session for God.
Yeah, very nice. Projected Ross. We've all had an accidental drunk captain before.
Yeah.
Have we though? Have we? Just hoping Stuart doesn't stuff the week even more by going nuts and not getting down to 450. He might. There's a solid chance he does. Zero picked Merritt over Dacot. Sorry. Hope it ends up all right, being a bit more okay after some more weeks. I think Merritt will be fine. Like if you go in Dacos to Merritt, I think Merritt's got a good run coming up, so I think he'll be okay. I think it'll even out. It'll be around the mark.
Yeah.
Brucey is injured, so Tunstall should play. Yeah, but is it an instant swap out as soon as Reveal is good to play, though? That's what concerns me.
How long is a Reveal injury? That'll be interesting to know.
I could not tell you.
Yeah.
Lucas, this is a good question. Is Cripper a trade if you own him?
I think he is. I don't know how he's actually been scoring. I think he's been pretty poor, but I think he went sub 100 against North Melbourne, which is probably where you're hoping to get like a spike score, especially for an inside mid.
Yeah.
So his last few scores have been 84, 56, a 114 against West Coast, and then last night he went 82. So I'd probably get out on that.
Yeah. Couldn't agree anymore. Out of these for Ross, I think Sinclair is the only unique, really. Most people will probably have a Baz and probably a Davidson if they didn't trade him out. Bice 100%. Roberts could have traded him out, but Horny Man and McRae. I think Sink's probably your only real unique one to potentially capture a bigger score there. Imagine Flynn got dropped around 8.
I don't think he will.
I don't think so.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Shy, thank you so much for hanging out with us, mate. Connor Stone cracked 2K this year or just grew up 200 every week. I think he's going to be the slowest of burns, to be honest. He just keeps around that mark of his break even, eh?
Oh, I don't know how he keeps getting picked. I don't know how he hasn't been subbed off, subbed on, dropped. I don't understand it.
Yeah, neither do I. We don't think Sardis is back in this week. Setterfield's been too good. TDK in the flex, Gordon and Sherry at R1 and 2. Is Flynn a must-have, and would you downgrade TDK for Flynn? Potentially if Pitnet's names, but after his VFL performance that you mentioned before, I don't think he gets there. I'd try to find another way to get Flynn in.
Yeah, if Pitnet doesn't come in, I wouldn't be trading TDK. I don't even think he's gone under the ton yet, has he?
I don't
So
think.
yeah,
He was almost under it, but he just got
he went
scaled up.
100 flat. So yeah, he's got 148, 104, 133, 101, 188, and 100. So if Peanut
No
doesn't
way you
come
trade
in,
out
you
that player.
cannot get rid of him. No.
No, no way. Bice D7, JG, just watch. He's made the call.
Oh,
He made it weeks ago. It's
I don't think it's going to happen. Probably a last upgrade, but
yeah,
yeah, I think you're going to need his cash.
yeah. Joshua also talking about Harvey Langford being a decent rook now, but yeah, not a starting pick for sure. Ant projected with a 23-31, very solid. Reed, Cross, and Zorko score on the field. Oh, that hurts. Looking to upgrade Stewart next week to fill out my back line by trading Davo and SPP. Also got tracking this week to lock out my forward line. Solid plans, mate. Very, very solid. Stewart's plan, so this is the team that had the lowest score of 82. His plan is TDK to Flynn. Interesting. Stone to Martin. Love it. And always plan on getting Martin. Was hoping to be a big pod. Thoughts? Yeah, as we just touched on, I don't think TDK is a trade out just yet. But maybe you go Stone to Flynn and try to figure out another way. What do you think, JG?
Yeah, I completely agree. And even if Peanut did, for whatever reason, come in, I still wouldn't jump off TDK. I think you need at least 1 or 2 games sample size of them together. I think it really helps that I'm pretty sure during the week last week, I heard Voss say that TDK is near on the best ruck in the game at the moment. So if you're saying comments like that, you've won 2 games in a row, albeit against Eagles and North. Surely you don't stuff around with that. And as we just said, he hasn't gone under the ton, so hold him.
Yeah, we kind of spoke on Zorko before. I don't think he's a must trade out just yet. He is going to bleed a lot of cash. His break even was like in the 170s and he scored a 70, so he's going to bleed a lot. You just kind of have to ride it, unfortunately. Kitty Coleman coming back for sure may influence things. So we'll see what happens, but I just want to watch very closely. Rollo, welcome in, mate. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are going well despite the chaos that's happening. Well, I mean, well enough to be on stream, I suppose. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on here for therapy. I mean, it's been 1 hour and 56 since we've jumped on. I've definitely calmed down a lot. I think my heart rate was pretty high after that Humphrey 47 and Trainer getting subbed on for a 2. But I think I've calmed down a bit, and I think this has helped. So thanks to everyone tuning into After Dark at the moment.
Definitely. That's what I mean. It's just good to get it out of the system and not take all the tense frustration to bed and roll into Sunday. You can put it in the comments and hang out with us and feel like, oh, yeah, everyone's struggling a little bit now. But no, so Rozze says the power of the hold paying off. Definitely. Backing underpriced primo upgrades to get rooks off field, 40 trades used to get 24. I think that's a really solid play there, Rollo. Just, yeah, backing your value full and primo picks to bounce back and then just try to get rooks off field. That strat, I think, always works. Yeah, you might have those spike scores that you miss like a day cost, but overall, I think you're better off. A very common question that's going to be asked over the next week or two is, do we prefer Track or Warner? Look, at this state, unless Warner goes nuts, I think Track's far ahead. Supercoach probably also mentions Martin, which should definitely be in the conversation.
Yeah,
absolutely. Man. We're getting there with comments. We're now 20 minutes behind. So you guys have been absolutely nuts with the comments. Thoughts on Peatling F6? Last 3 scores are 93, 126, and 85. I don't think there's a slot for him given the options that we have.
Yeah, there's too many guys. I don't want to be adding Peatling into the mix that I'm already choosing between because I'm already pulling my hair out.
Yeah, exactly. I look, when you have like a Warner and a Martin and a Track, yeah, very, very hard to try to find a spot for Peatling there for sure. Rollo, Cats or Hawks for the Monday rookie. I hope we get up. Come on, Geelong. Oh, man, of course, Cattery are going to get up. Come on. No Will Day. Atkins is probably going to go to Newcomb. They're going to rely on Moore, which I do hope plays well, just not well enough to win the game for the Hawks. Hawkball is dead. Okay. Cattery all the way. So who would you prefer as a neutral in this game? I suppose, JG, who would you prefer to get up?
I'd prefer. I mean, my reasoning behind wanting Hawthorn to lose applies to Geelong as well, where just will you ever not be successful? It does my head in, but Hawthorn, they had a 2-year rebuild. As an Essendon fan, that does my head in. I
Yeah.
can't stand the Hawk fans, and I also can't stand that their players can give it, but you saw last week they can't take it.
No.
So I don't like people that can give it but can't take it. So I'd prefer Geelong to win, but I
I
mean,
hope Stewart starts laying into some of them to do the same thing that Port did. I mean, we don't have the
yeah,
personalities like Port do. You know,
yeah,
you might. I mean, we've got Smith now, so maybe we do.
yeah.
Maybe Smith gets in their face a little bit after
I
seeing
reckon
what
I
Bud.
could definitely see like an Ollie Henry kick a goal and give it to someone. I reckon he might be one that could potentially give it. But you are right. Baz Linker, maybe a little bit of a double bird, back it up from last week.
Oh, you'd love it. You'd love it. John was going to take the 120 from Brayshaw as the VC, but Trainer was my E with Patton to go on field for the loop. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now giving the C on Sinclair. I think Sinclair's a perfectly fine captain. I think McRae or Sinclair, you'll get some solid scores. McRae, revenge game. Sinclair just loves Marvel. So I think fine. Great. If you had to pick one or the two, go Sinclair just because everyone has McRae and you want to separate a little bit in this chaotic week. Would
I'd
you agree,
almost take that.
JG?
I'd almost take that safe 120 though.
Yeah, if
Like,
you could find a way to take it, you take 100%. If you had no way of taking the 120, unfortunate. But if you had an
yeah. Oh,
ability to
okay.
take
Yeah.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
I
True.
think John doesn't have the ability to take it, so he has to take a captaincy somewhere. But if you had the 120, you take it every day of the week for sure. Ross the Boss, great question. Would you get Sherry in flex or Flynn for the cash gen? Then I would probably get a track. What would you? I know my answer almost instantaneously. What would you do?
I was all over Sherry after that 144. And then a couple of hours later, Flynn played, and
Yeah,
300k the difference between them after um, a little fall for Sherry this week. I think you just go Flynn. As much as I would love to get Sherry in, because this is when his run starts to open up.
yeah,
He had a pretty tough run to start, and the hamstring concern didn't help either. But I think you just get to bank that 300k cash with. We've been talking all night about these lack of cash gen rookies coming in, so you kind
yeah,
of need it at the moment.
yeah. And I 100% agree. Sherry is great, and if you have playing rookies and you don't really need to fix the cash gen, you 100% target Sherry. But I think for most, given the chaos, you have to kind of play value if you want a chance at maintaining ranks and getting rooks off field. So I think Flynn and Track is an easy one for me because there's a high, you get Flynn and flex potentially to cover a rookie score already, and then you get Track to take a rookie off field basically. Like that's a massive,
Yeah.
massive win. Shane projected 2278 with a rank of 40. Awesome rank, mate. That's with Nikki D as the VC. Strife, methinks.
You're not in strife with that
Yeah, I
projection.
don't think so. I think you'll be fine, Shane. I think there might be some slight adjustments either up or down. Hard to tell at the moment, but I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be fine. Matthew, did you guys hold or trade Davidson? I think we both held. Or did you trade Davo?
I traded him.
Oh, yeah.
I needed that cash to get Dacos, which
There you go.
I mean, I'm going to be happy with that. But yeah, I really, really tried to trade Trainer instead once he was named sub. But the only way I could have done it was by getting a Cochran at 99k instead of Cleary. If Cleary is sub tomorrow and Cochran isn't, I am going to be fuming because I could have traded Trainer over Davidson, but hopefully Cleary isn't sub and I just
Yeah.
move on. But Davidson, as I said, is a great hold if you could hold him.
Yeah, for sure. There we go. Jonas is talking more about Young. Danny Green forward line will be completed if I get Martin in, but wow, my back line is just in complete shambles. Started both Horn Francis and Shees, and I traded them both out the week they both went 144 and 154. Ouchie. I think there was a few people that did the same. Like it was just that really rough week where you're like, and I think we kind of seen it. You get two, and this is probably my copium to hold Roberts. You see two shocking scores, and then you see a spike score. Roberts has given us the shocking scores. Give us a spike score, please. Please.
And my one hope with him as well is he's played 2 games at the SCG. for 124.95. Just give me anything between that. Just give it
Massive
to me.
copium. Lachlan, welcome in, mate. An absolute legend in the community as well. Hung out with me and Brad last week. So thanks for joining back in, mate. G'day, lads. Traded Roberts to field my good old defense rookies in Trainer and Reed. That went well. Oh, that's gonna sting. That's unfortunate. I feel most people kind of. I saw a few people go with that play as well, like moving Roberts on because they had faith in the defensive rookies, which before you saw the chaos, I think most people had faith. I think we kind of got lost that they are rookies and can do this.
I mean, you and me both brought in Al Hawley to get that extra rookie on the field. I brought in Al Hawley over Gross so that I could swing him back and field Trainer instead of Marias or Nevitt. I think I'd much rather Marias at the moment.
Yep. Corzard traded Horny. We got Baz, Bice, and Marek when I traded him. I think that pays out much, much better. So very, very good. Harry, welcome in, mate. Thanks for joining us. We're trying to go into what is the play next week. Seeing most want to move Roberts. Playing 3 rookies on field doesn't seem right. Thoughts? Yeah. Again, these are rookies. Trainer's break even is going to be stupid. He's going to lose cash most likely because is Bolter going to play next week? Because I know he's got caught in like 2 weeks. Does that mean he plays next week?
I don't know. Like, I think it was meant to be this Tuesday, but I think it's been pushed back a week now.
Oh, God.
Fox, would you reckon he won't get jail time? Which, I mean, if he was an everyday bloke with the lifelong injuries he's given that person, you're probably getting jail time. But he's an AFL footballer. I think he's just going to get away with it. But I think he will play next week if his court date is the week after.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Trainer may not be sub next week and push out a 90, but it's still really like you could hold and try your luck if he gets a 90 and just wait till that 2 drops out of the system. Sure, if you've got other things to fix, by all means. But there's a case to be made to use him to fix up some things next week as well. Gorza, Gorm getting 0 points for like 6. Yeah, champion data. Just they're drunk. They're literally drunk at the wheel. We'll wait for Cheese to answer that question. Harry traded in Pachaka for Marias, but with all this rookie carnage, I've regretted it. Trainer, Campo, Patton, all dead rooks. Yeah, it's one of those things. A lot of people made trades quite confidently with their rookies playing, and then have kind of been burnt by it because potentially they've locked in a player that they can't reverse now to keep it playing rook. So I think everyone kind of got burnt by that, don't you think, JG?
Yeah, and I guess in this case, at least Trainer's by the end of this round going to have 150k on his starting price, so you can cash that in. But Campo and Patton are really disappointing. I've got Campo as well. Patton was actually an MVP for me, and I think it was about round 3 because I reverse traded him back in, and he got me that Davison 129. So I'll be forever grateful from him. But yeah, it's not ideal having these dead rookies, and I think they're just going to keep piling up as the season goes on. Because at the end of the day, they're that price for the reason. They're either breaking into the team or they're first year rookies or like they're fringe players to start with, unless you're a Levi Ashcroft or a Kako that's just going to get games every week.
Yeah, legit. Michael, Flynn is one bad game from getting dropped again. Apparently, BJ Williams had a fairly good game in the waffle today. Copium, I don't see it.
Well, Flynn had 3 goals and 28 touches and 50 hitouts and didn't get back in. It took another bad performance by Bailey Williams to get back in. I'll quickly look at Williams' stats, but I mean, 21 disposals, 1 goal, 25 hitouts. No, he won't get back in.
Yeah. I mean, could. There's a world, but unlikely. Yaron, what a legend in the community. Thanks for joining us, mate. Glad you're here. Hope you have a good Easter. How was Graham not penalised for incorrect disposals when he was in the goal square, had possession of the ball, missed his foot, and had a second swing at it for a goal?
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
I mean, I feel like the champion data and the umps, they're all coming from the same place at this point.
Yeah, honestly, you could be correct there.
Yeah. Marty's still going strong, lads. My emotional attachment to Briggs knows no bounds, as I'm a stubborn prick. His ruck run is great from now on, so would you hold or trade to Flynn? I mean, did you trade to Briggs from Flynn just to then reverse it? Because that's like you still need the R2. I'm assuming Briggs is your R2. I would probably keep Briggs and try to bring in Flynn if possible.
Yeah,
Briggs can't play that bad every week, can he?
I don't know. Like, I mean, he got an 80 last week, and he's averaged well before, but I'd almost try and get out of it. I'd love to know his break-even to be, because you'd hate to lose even more cash from where he is currently at 400 something.
Let's have a look. So 476, he had a break even of 94, to which he scored an amazing 27. Rough projection, 137.
Yeah, not good.
And then he's probably gonna fall under 400k now. Flynn is gonna overtake. He's gonna be more than Briggs at this point.
Yeah, so if that's me, and you don't have many players to trade out, I'm going straight Briggs to Flynn. I mean, English next week, K-League's points, but then you go Grundy, and then Geelong will leak points, and then you go Shrek. I mean, it is a pretty decent run for Ruckman, but I don't know. I mean, if Jervis had ruck options, Briggs genuinely could have been dropped, but they just don't have anyone. They're not going to bring Lockie Keith in as a sole ruck, and there's not many other people they can use. But yeah, he's in drop territory after today's game. Anything he touched was getting turned over.
Yeah, and he was giving away heaps of frees too, like just holding. Yeah. It was horrible. But as Michael says here, rucks are all underscoring, and if you have a ruck that's going 100 plus consistently or around that mark, I think you definitely hold them. So TDK, do not trade out, essentially.
Yeah.
Causa, no Guinea this week as well. Very interesting that he's potentially getting dropped as well, out of all players. So coaches are putting the whip down. They're definitely trying to get some standards into the team, that's for sure. So that's very interesting. We saw Mini do that with Tim Kelly, but obviously that didn't work. He came straight back in for essentially Clay Hall. Shocking. What's both your targets next week? Any primos you want or just rookies? I'm still undecided. Really?
I'm pretty much decided. I think it's Flynn's definitely coming in, and it's Petrarca or Warner. Yeah.
I'm very much probably following suit just to, again, get that value really locked in. So we'll see how we go. Again, if Roberts pops off, I might just be doing a 1 up, 1 down at this point. And miss on track or just grab track, miss Flynn. It's going to be a tough call because I can pretty much maybe I can, we'll see. Need to see more of this week's games to make a fair call. I had George Hewett VC, then changed to Sheezel 5 minutes before the game. But I captained Rouse, is still happy. Hey, at least you still got Hewett's score. Right, that's the same thing with yourself, JJ. You didn't VC Dacos, but you still happy you got the score, right?
True. Cancelled out by a cheeky Zach Reid 38 in my system.
Yep. Jonas McCrae, no thanks. Everyone has a plan until Bevo punches you on the nuts. I mean, there are all things to be said that Bevo might try to. I don't know who they would send to McRae for attention, but there is a world. So we'll see. I still think McRae or Sinclair are solid captaincy options. Ergland, traded in Draper this week, had a punt, looked like it was paying off. I'm devastated. Yeah. Definitely just one of those things with Supercoach. Hey, it's those freak injuries that really just do the number on your team. What does Roberts need to score tomorrow to keep his spot in my side? I mean, anything. The number flexes for me. What do you have a set figure?
I mean, with Flynn presenting as an option, and also already wanting to get in Petrarca at F6, I'd honestly take anything 90 plus from Matt Roberts to hold him. Especially if Suns the week after. I'm pretty sure they're the number 1 team for general defenders and designated kickers this year. So definitely hold. Look at Vlosten tonight. He broke a record for first half intercept possessions.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of other spike scores as well against the Suns.
Yeah, very much anything 90 above for me. Like the bar, as the games go on, the bar gets lower. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
90 is definitely what I need. I'll take the cash hit and ride it out because if I can flip Davidson and a Henderson or a Reed or a Trainer to get in Track and Flynn, I'm absolutely going to lock that in. Marty is making sure that Lindsay gets a message heard that needs to step it up. Finally back at normal Tog, gets to 55. Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. Once that 9 comes out of his system, maybe some things change, but I think he's fine. Least of the worries at this point. Is Dacos gone if you don't get him next week? Yeah, if you don't get him next week, I think he's potentially unreachable.
Yep, I agree as well. We'll quickly look at Scope's projection. Jace, has he even done one? Maybe he's lacking on the Collingwood projection. I can't find one, but I think he said something about he's going to be 606K and his break even is going to be pretty damn low. So it might be this week or nothing.
Yeah, it literally is. It's this week or not. And I think, if you've got the room to and you don't have a lot of cash in to fix, it's definitely a luxury trade in, I think, after the carnage we've seen. But sure. If you don't get him next week, you definitely wait until he comes back down for sure. Dreezy E. Flynn had a post-game interview. Seems like he's going to stay after working on what he needed to. Music to my ears. It's exactly what I need.
I love that.
Who else we got? So we got Koza, Will Schnelling. What a name. He used to play for Essendon, played in the Sandfield this week and had 40 possessions and 89 fantasy points a day.
He had 21 tackles as well. Yeah. He's a gun state league player. I mean, he did play 70-odd games for Essendon, finished third in the BNF 1 year, but I think the nail in his coffin was in his last year with us. He failed to get 20 meters for a set shot. He didn't get the distance. So I think that was a nail in the coffin. But he did have some good
take
games.
that, though, at this point. Both your ruckmans going down. I think you 100% take that.
Oh, Will Snelling's not a ruckman, by the way.
He's what? He's not a ruckman?
No. He's a little. I think he's like 178 centimeters. Little wedge man.
Ruckman now. He's a ruckman now.
Yeah.
You take. Oh man, imagine if Zach Reid gets ruck roll though. That might save him. Imagine the light team sheets. You see Zach Reid.
I'd hate it. Especially that. I think it's been a bit harsh. People's commentary on Todd Goldstein. Like he's still averaging like. I think I did it today. He's played 2 games. He's averaging like 19 touches, something like 30 plus hitouts in the VFR from 2 games. He is 36 years old, but he can still do a job. Like he's no slouch. Like, look at what Ray Stanley did first couple of games back. He's still doing a job. Like
exactly.
He might not be this 100 plus averaging Supercoach player, but like Darcy Ford's a premiership ruckman. You just need someone that's tall and can do a job. Like, I mean, even round 1, you look at Lockie Keefe against Melbourne. Like
that's 100% it, right? Though, and like at this point, you'd imagine Peter Wright, to me, Pete stays in the forward line, chops out in the ruck there, and then maybe they even try to train up Zach Reid to chop out in the defensive line, for example.
Yeah, and I think Zach Reid's too important as our second key for tall defender to go play ruck. I think Goldie will be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Absolutely. Yaron traded Colossi to Long. Reverse trades. Roberts out hoping Colossi is not named, so I can loop Hewett's 97. Solid. Reverse Roberts a trainer at lol. So my one trade is trainer to Long. Yeah, solid. Very, very solid. I think that's a good
trade.
That's a great trade. Yeah, so we're talking about Will Schnelling. Geez, we're catching up on comments, ladies and gentlemen. So we're doing this so well, and there's still 100 of yous in here. So you guys are absolute legends.
Apparently, 100 audience for you. You're getting numbers now, rookie.
Semi-pro now, thanks. All right. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, hey, for 600 odd sub channel, get 100 viewers on stream. I'm very, very proud of you guys. You guys have been absolutely legendary in both the stream and just general support for the channel as well. So very good. Briggs is in the flex, believe it or not. God forbid I try to bring in a pod next time. I'm following the most brought in player, please. I mean, if Briggs is in the flex, I think you do just move him to Flynn.
Yeah, I would.
You put your pride aside and go, this is a season defining move, really. Think about it, because Briggs is going to bleed, Flynn's going to make cash. So, yeah, 100%. Would you focus on fixing cash? It's a great question. Would you focus on fixing cash gen or trading out dead rookies, such as Clay Hall, Camp, etc., or upgrade to a primo? I'll let you go first.
I'd focus on fixing cash gen, but to fix cash gen, you need those players to bring in. And besides a Carroll, besides a Flynn, maybe a Will White, there isn't too many options you can go. But I mean, upgrading to a primo is nice, and you can probably do that for a couple more weeks with some of these guys we still have in your bias, your Ashcrofts, your trainers, and all that. But once they start to dry up and they're all traded out, you're going to be praying that you fix your cash gen when you could have, because you're going to be really slowly upgrading because you're not going to have anyone fattened up to cash out.
Yeah, and like, it's literally, you need 2 fat cash cows to be able to really do a 1 up, 1 down. If you've only got one and you got one that's halfway there, you're either looking for real fallen primos in value, or you're trying to save your boosts and use your boosts early, or you're banking on the mid buy rounds to make your trades. So I definitely agree. I think cash gen is king. And while it might hurt seeing other people grab a Dacos, they could be grabbing Dacos at the cost of cash gen. So they might be ahead of you now, but you might be able to catch up to them quite quickly once you have more cash gen on your bench and more cash cows to trade into. So couldn't agree anymore. And there's plenty of value next week as well. Like, you might be able to grab a Carroll and a Flynn and then grab a track, potentially, depending on who you got. As
exactly
options.
what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I think that will be a pretty common trade. It's definitely the one I'm looking at, unless Stewart plays out of his skin. I'm probably more likely to go Stewart over track, if I'm being honest. I just throw Levi into the F6 position because he seems to be pretty solid at the moment. Yaron, a break even of 58 for Dacos. He is going to be very unattainable on that case.
Yeah.
We spoke on this a little bit earlier. Was almost 2 hours ago, so we will quickly rehash it. Rozze as captain is a bit of a concern, simply because there's been 1 game of the role shift. It is Sydney, so we know they do tag. Jordan can tag off the halfback as well. Yeah, I'd go somewhere else for a captain just in case.
Same reasons.
Yeah, very good. Luca, if I can only get 1 this week, do I get Flynn or Dacos? I hate to say it, but I think you go Flynn.
I think so too, just purely because what we were talking about 2 minutes ago. You need that cash gen because it's going to keep drying up. And I mean, getting a Dacos at 600k, that's not going to help your funds in the future either. So I think you're just going to prioritize getting in these guys that, to be honest, like Flynn's still going to score well while making cash, in my opinion. So he kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone.
100%. For sure. No, totally agree. I think, as crazy as it is saying out loud, you definitely get Flynn in over Dacos just to keep your team healthy for cash gen. So Colossi doesn't play. I don't think so. As a Catters man, I don't think so. If anything, he's sub. So I think your trade out's fine. Jonas, come on, rookie. Z Reed will be get snapped in half in the ruck. No way Bombers risk that. I agree. But again, if they get a Gold State in, there's no way they're forcing him to run up and down the ground because he'll get gassed out very quickly, I imagine. Like, JG is probably the expert on the Dons on what they'll do.
Yeah, as I said, like when you've got a fit Todd Goldstein, who Brad Scott's still highly rated, by the way. He said his press conference, Goldie is elite, which I don't think he's elite anymore. But as I said, he can still do a job. I'll rehash it. Darcy Fort's a premiership ruckman. Ray Stanley showed that he can still do a job at the age. So yeah, I think he's going to be fine, and Zach Reid's going to be fine as a key defender still. He
Yeah.
won't be in the ruck.
Amazing stuff. But hey, look, I had a good laugh seeing Zach Reid in the ruck. I will be honest, and I was hoping for some extra gimme points to his score, but
Bro,
it didn't happen. Didn't
I
happen.
think he went from like 19 to 38, to be honest, in that
Yeah,
last
yeah,
quarter.
it was saving. It was definitely saving.
Yeah.
Yaron, what an absolute legend, mate. Thank you so much. Definitely not needed, but I appreciate that all so much. You are no words can express what you do for the community and just the support and love you show. So you're an absolute legend. Need my beauty sleep. Happy Easter, all much love. Appreciate the therapy session. Good night. Happy Easter to you too, mate. Have a great Easter. Make sure you enjoy your time off. And hopefully, best of luck for the rest of the round for Supercoach wise. Keen to see how you bounce back next week. So, what a legend.
This guy, he is a genuine gun bloke. Like, I've now seen him. He donated to our Thursday night stream on DR's channel for a bat for Jack. Donated on Pro's stream last week. Donated on Supercoach Gods, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him on a couple of other donating as well. And 30 donos every single time. And again tonight, he is a genuine A-grade bloke.
He is. He is. It's all that XRP coin. It's all it is. We know him. We used to know him as that XRP logo that came in. So he is truly one of the best in the community when it comes to the support and just good chats and just talking Supercoach. So, make sure you guys show him some love in the chat before he goes. Words can't amount to the appreciation that I have for you, mate. Appreciate that, Dodo. That's amazing stuff. Ralphie, Geelong VFL play at 1 p.m. tomorrow, so should give some good indication for the team selection. Solid shout. That is always a great indication in some VFL selections. So we'll see how we go. One to watch, Aaron. Marty, what are your thoughts on the rolling lockouts? Some discourse tonight on Twitter. I don't mind them, as I think a single lockout would make things even more infuriating. What about you guys? What are your thoughts on the rolling lockout? Do you think it's a good or bad thing?
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think getting rid of the rolling lockout would be a disaster. Like, the amount of times I see laid outs or like anything. Like, think about a rolling lockout. You can't even do VCC loophole. You just get to straight see someone every single week. You can't do emergency loopholes. I really would hate the rolling lockout to be gone. I don't think it ever will be gone.
I think there's only benefits to it, really, because you get the VC option loop now. You can back out of some trades if there's last minute changes. There's only benefits from it. The one thing I want to see going from AFL and Supercoach is the sub rule. Please remove it. So literally, take 2 trades away from us if you have to, as long as the sub rule's gone. I don't care. Take 10 trades. I would give half the trades away to get rid of the sub rule, just to know that rookies will have cash gen. It's ridiculous. Also a great question, because a lot of people have been keeping an eye on him. Do we think Sam Flanders is the same man he was last year? And I don't think he is. I'll give a nice short answer. It doesn't look like it.
I don't think he is either. It's going to be interesting to see how much of this is limited preseason or no preseason, and game match fitness, and how much it is role. His role's pretty poor at the moment, but he's definitely someone to still keep an eye on, just because going into this season he was the most expensive defender, so we know what he can do at the top of his game. Looking at him now, he's already lost 59k, 171 break even with a score of 47 today. He is going to get very low. And I mean, if his role changes around and he gets to 450k, nearly 200k cheaper than his starting price, I think you've got to keep him on your radar.
Yeah,
100%. You've got to just keep watching him, I think.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I think he needs to that's the exact thing that's missing. He needs to dye his hair again, and then he's back. 100%. But no, great shout. Definitely want to watch when he bottoms out in price, because there could be immense value there if things change role-wise. If it doesn't, though, you probably pass. Harry Peter Wright would play second ruck. Yeah, the press conference said Reid has never played ruck or trained at Essendon. No, you could tell the moment he stepped into that CBA to take that first rock, he had no idea what to do. So they won't be running that again for sure. It was just very, very funny. Yeah, Goldie is fine. I'd be surprised if they don't bring in Goldie. Like, they don't have any choices, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, other than that, we've got to play too many Peter as sole rock, which after 6 goals, we can't do that.
No way.
Or you debut a Vigo Vicentini, who's a second-year developing ruckman, or a Cal Ryan, who's a first-year developing ruckman. Just
Yeah.
bring in the 329 game, one of the best rucks of all time in Todd Goldstein.
Yeah.
He'll do a job. We'll be fine.
Yeah. That's what he's just going to do a pretty simple job and try to get some hitouts to advantage, trust in the midfield to come back him up a little bit. And I think he'll be okay for sure.
Yeah.
Daniel Green really wants Stewart and Mills when he's back in my backline, but still going to need one more to complete it. I don't know who that's going to be. I have Whitfield, Clark, Short, O'Sullivan, Bice, Trainer, Patton, and Reed. I think Short can go. So I think, you quickly interchange Short and like Stewart. My original plan here with Mills, and again, this is the one where you kind of have to watch to make sure everything's there for the pick. Say we cash out Flynn, let's just say Flynn maxes out on cash, Mills looks good. I think it's a simple flex play. Flynn down to Mills.
Absolutely. 100%.
Like,
Mills is listed 1 to 2 weeks. You'd hope maybe that pushes out to 2 more weeks of Flynn. Then he comes back 2 more weeks until he gets on the bubble. You'd love 4 games out of Flynn and straight to Mills.
Yeah. Yeah. So that could be the play
good.
because at this point, I do prefer trying to get in defenders more than midfielders just because it seems a bit up and down with the midfield at the moment. I mean, outside of your exceptions like a George Hewett. Unfortunately, this man right here who haunts me. But yeah, I think that play is something that I would be eyeing off to make sure it works. I mean, timeline-wise, it'd be a perfect storm for it to work, but never know. Yaron just saying too kind, but yeah, why not? Why not put out profits from the crypto casino to good causes? Thank you, Yaron. Absolutely legendary. Daniel Green, I do have Sinclair also, but added him to the midfield. Likewise, I've done the same. Maybe I'll just put Martin in the back line and get a Warner in forward instead of potentially. I think Martin, you definitely lock into the forward line, though. I don't think you look to move Martin. There's options in the midfield. Like, you got a Naz who looks to be pretty good. You got Stewart. You've already got Clark. They're going to be people that come out. Like, Lockie Ash seems to be playing very, very well, and he's still will be at an affordable price and seems to be doing very, very consistent. Just quickly, what did Ash do today? I don't think he played poorly. He's been averaging pretty well.
I'm
108.
not too sure. Yeah. Oh, wow. So another 100+ score for Lockie Ash.
Like,
yeah.
Just quickly, that is. So he's had a 122, an 80, 95, 130, 137, and then 108. That's pretty viable.
Pretty good.
That is, and like the roll's clearly there with a floor of 80. Sheesh. Looks good. So yeah, Ash is probably. I saw a few people trading Ash this week actually. So very, very good. Yeah, FPL is a single lockout, and my god, the amount of times I've wanted to.
Yeah.
Not great. Matthew
Especially like
agrees.
this round. We're Saturday night, or we're Sunday morning, and one of the teams for a game hasn't even been named yet.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that if you didn't, like, a Mitch Nevitt was on your field and he doesn't get named tomorrow night and you can't, like, get him off the field.
Yeah.
It would do my head in.
Yeah. It would be so much pain, for sure. But Matthew agrees Goldstein R1 is the play. Let's hope Brad Scott. I mean, if Brad Scott talks highly of him still, it makes sense. Yeah, it seems a stiff coming from an Essendon supporter with Langford to come back into the team on top of Goldstein. Starters could miss out on selection again unless Hobbs or Menzies gets omitted. It's pretty tough. And then he got Cardwell would come in as well.
Yeah, Caldwell come in. I think Langford is pretty much 80% coming in for Anzac Day, which is really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Goldstein 100% is the one that comes in for Draper. Menzies bought himself a little bit of time from his 4-goal game a couple of weeks ago. He wasn't the best on the weekend, but Hobbs
Yeah.
maybe is the one that comes out. As I said, though, I think Sardis's best chance of getting in the team is Al Hawley dropped and Sardis sub.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen.
I don't think with the midfield options they have, I don't think they will. I think Sard will stay
Yeah,
the sub
which is the
because he's
worst.
versatile.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sard can play wing, he can play half back, and he can also play half forward. Um, and the thing with Sardis as well, I don't know why, but in his draft year, I really rated how he could play inside and outside. But for some reason, Brad Scott thinks he's purely inside mid,
Mm,
and if it's not that, he's not in the team or he's on the bench.
yeah.
He can play wing. Like, I don't know why we're stuffing around for Harry Jones on the wing, who was really, really poor. He could get dropped. He's a big
Mm,
chance to get dropped. I would love to see Sardis on the opposite wing to Dersma.
yeah.
But it's just for some reason Brad Scott just doesn't want him on the wing, and he's in
Doesn't
mid
rate him.
only. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's that age-old conundrum of coaches playing players out of their position that they're pretty good at and throwing in, trying different things that, again, the perfect example is what you just said. Yeah, you got your Jones that is shocking on the wing, where you have Sardis who has played that position and would probably do really, really well at it. He's not a tackler, so sure, maybe inside mids aren't his best call, but for a receive on the wing to then kick in for an inside 50, perfect. I'd be perfect to his skill set. So very, very stiff. Do we think West Coast tear it all down, Oscar out, get pick 1 and 2, and Campo, trade Harley to Essendon or Richmond for multiple first-round picks? I think there's been a lot of debate through, I know CWT, a good legend in the community as well, who is a Weagle supporter. I think Kane Corns and stuff like that have done a hot take on it. I think it's the only option they have, really. They got to blow it up, rebuild completely, and just try to build kids in, get good pairings, make them all mates so they don't want to leave, and aim for a premiership in a few years.
Yeah, and I got smashed on Twitter like 4 weeks ago for saying that I don't want
Yeah.
Harley Reid at Essendon. And obviously, I'd love Harley Reid in red and black. What I don't want is what it's going to cost you. Like the West Coast at the moment, we have our first rounder, we have Melbourne's first rounder, and we've got a guy called Nick Martin who's from WA. I reckon West Coast would straight out for Harley Reid, ask for 2 first rounders, Nick Martin, and maybe even more. So
Yeah.
I reckon it would tear your club apart more than it would actually be worth, I think, to get a Harley Reid in. But for West Coast, they've got the biggest currency in the game right now in Harley Reid, to be honest. Besides maybe a couple of other players.
Yeah. No, totally agree. Harry, who's still hanging around, awesome. Priority next week, Dacos, Flynn, or Sideways Roberts to Stewart. Have a good Easter, boys. Thank you, Harry. Make sure you have a good Easter too and enjoy some downtime. Yeah, kind of touched on this a little bit. I think I'll let JG run it back.
Yeah, I think the priority would be Flynn. We've spoken about how important cash gen is. I can't believe, like myself included, we go swallow the pride and bring Flynn back in, ending up using 3 trades on him once we do get him out again. But I just think with the lack of options that are going to be coming in, highlighted by this round with Gross sub already, we thought he'd be a lock as a downgrade option. You're just going to take what you can get for guys that can make coin. And Sco's did a projection of him going, I think, roughly 100, and Flynn makes 200K in 4 weeks. So, yeah, I'd prioritize him, and then I'd probably prioritize Roberts to Stewart over Dacos, just purely because I think Stewart will get the 450K. You make like 20, 30K, or maybe not even that going to Roberts, but I think you get in a primo that can be top 8 in his line for 450K, so you can't really go wrong there.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100% agree. We'll make DJ Garner Holmes the last question, as we have been going for almost 3 hours. So big shout out to you,
And
JG,
I need to get to sleep.
hanging on for so long. And also thanks for everyone hanging out with us as well. We'll go through these pretty quickly. Luca, is Dunkley still an option? Wait till he bottoms out. Wait till that last ton score falls out of his system, and then grab him, I think, if you were really keen on him. Yaron, finally getting to bed. Teeth are brushed. Final question. I believe Philip may be 2 weeks away. Want to keep in mind, I reckon. Good night. 100%. Definitely keep an eye on Philip for sure. Yeah, Marty agrees with you. All that throat blow up your club for a guy with an attitude problem. Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. Do we think Bo Allen, what does he have to do to get a debut? I guess just be healthy. I don't know. Like, I think Brock's probably ahead of him if it's a defensive role. Like, you never know. I think Weagles is very, very hard to pick at the moment when it comes to their rookies. Last two. Ned, I've got Gorn, Sherry, TDK, so I have no flex. Do I put Flynn in on my bench or do I give him a miss?
Now that is where I wouldn't get Flynn. You don't
Yeah.
win a 260k bench.
Yeah.
Especially because you're probably going to be trading a Boyd to get there. So
Yeah.
you're already spending up 160k just to get him in.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an Archer, if you have an Archer rating in R3, I don't
That's where you
mind
could
flipping
do it.
him. I don't mind flipping him to Flynn, and just spending the 150 odd K that you need to get him in. There is a hair on my glasses and it's doing my absolute head in. But yeah, I think that's a very tricky one.
Yeah, he's just put in that he has Boyd, so you don't want to be spending 160k to get Flynn. I think that's just a bit counterproductive.
Yeah. So it may just have to give him a miss, unfortunately, but there's lots of value to be had next week. So don't stress too much. Awesome. We're going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. You guys have been absolutely amazing tonight. Again, Supercoach After Dark, by easily my favorite stream to do all week. I look forward to it every week to get in with you guys and have our rants, have our therapy sessions. It might need to be renamed. It's crazy. But again, these sessions always go for at least 2 hours and usually gets us clocked into past midnight. So, hi, JG. So thank you so much for spending your Saturday night with us, mate, especially on Easter weekend where you could be getting some well-needed rest. So appreciate you jumping on. Where can the people find you?
On the Supercoach Swordplay YouTube channel, Scurbs and I, and also Ferns have joined them from the Supercoach Hub, and we do our 2 streams per week, Rage Trade Mondays and Team Drop Thursdays. And then we also feature sometimes on the Sunday Talkback, which is DR's baby. As I said before, it's really good that he's back healthy.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, JG232_, I think it is now. I changed it pretty recently, so I'm actually not really familiar with what it is, but me and Rookie converse quite regularly, so you'll probably see me either commenting on his things or him commenting on my things. So if I got it wrong, you'll find me there.
Yeah, just for those at home, it is JG232_.
There we go.
just to be a saving line there. But no, awesome. Yeah, so Talk Back with DR is back. So we are very, very happy to hear that DR is back on track and had a speedy recovery. So really good and excited for that. So make sure you guys check out the Swordplay channel tomorrow night for that. You guys can get involved as well with the talkbacks and hop on and chat to the lads. So very, very good. If you guys haven't already, hit the like on the stream before you head out. Make sure you do subscribe to myself and the Supercoach Swordplay for the boys as well. Show their love and support. First and foremost, though, make sure you guys enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend. Enjoy family time. Enjoy the chocolate. And let's hope the chaos mitigates for the rest of the round and we can take some relief and actually gain something from this therapy session. So shout outs again to all the members that are still here. Daniel and Shy47. You guys have been absolute legends. So thanks for coming and hanging out. And that's it. We will see you. I will see you on at some point during the week on the videos or live streams. And as JJ mentioned, you can probably catch him tomorrow night on the Talk Back with DR. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you soon.